had to choose, would you watch paint dry or compare benefits plans?
Compare benefits plans, obviously.
But you know how complicated benefits are, right?
Well, I run payroll with Gusto. Gusto makes it easy to find benefits like medical, dental, and vision for my whole team.
Whoa! Oh, sorry. I'm gonna need new glasses.
Don't worry, you're covered.
Choose benefits without the mess. Visit gusto.com/radio to sign up for free.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower use for adults only.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's Conversational Radio Show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Welcome into the program, News and Views. In the afternoon, I'm your host, Joey Clark. 272-9228. If you want to get in, as the big boy said, 272-9228. Just getting right into things today. No Eddie today, so if you want to call in, join the conversation, please do. But the Epstein files, or the, documents that came out of this case going against Ghislaine Maxwell, they're out there, and I know it is the talk of the town, the talk of the internet. Here is a list of the 6 biggest names released in the first round of unsealed documents. So the long-awaited list has been released. The documents indicated that some prominent figures were involved in the sexual abuse of minors, and the mention of others largely cleared them of wrongdoing. So, yeah, some of the names that are redacted, it's like, oh, so-and-so was accused of this thing, but we cleared them. Others, well, there's still a big question. None of the people mentioned in these documents were charged with any crimes. Not shocking. In all, about 90 figures were named, including the accusers, with 4 of the accusers being redacted. But here are 6 of the most prominent names mentioned in these court documents. You have, of course, former President Bill Clinton. Now, Clinton was one of the most prominent figures in the documents, with his name mentioned 73 times. He was not accused of any wrongdoing, but one of the accusers testified that Epstein told her the former president, quote-unquote, likes them young, when referring to girls. He likes them young. Well, how young? When reached for comment on Wednesday, Angel Urena, Clinton's spokesman, referred to the Washington Examiner a statement he put out in July of 2019, in which he said Clinton, quote, knows nothing about the terrible crimes Epstein committed. The former president has not been accused of criminal activity in connection with Epstein, and his representatives did not object to the unsealing of the latest documents. Prince Andrew of the royal family. Claims against Prince Andrew, subject to public scrutiny for several years, were further strengthened in the documents, with accusers directly accusing Prince Andrew of several instances of sexual abuse. Wow. In the most severe accusation, an accuser known as Jane Doe No. 3 alleges she was forced to have sex with the British royal while she was underage, including in one instance as part of an underage orgy. You know, this is the guy who claimed he has a weird skin condition where he sweats or something. Or it could be it's not that you have a weird skin condition. It could be that the fires of hell are starting to come out from your epidermis. But Jane Doe number 3 was forced to have sexual relations with Prince Andrew when she was a minor in 3 separate geographical locations: in London, at Ghislaine Maxwell's apartment in New York, and on Epstein's private island in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And there, his private island, there was an orgy with numerous underage girls. Epstein instructed Jane Doe 3 that she was to give the prince whatever he demanded and required Jane Doe 3 to report back to him on the details of the sexual abuse. Prince Andrew has vehemently denied any wrongdoing. The fact that some of these folks just get away with some of the worst crimes imaginable. Now, get a load of this one. Alan Dershowitz. Dershowitz was one of the people most named of the accused in the documents, with his name coming up 137 times. According to one of the victims, Epstein forced the underage girl to have sexual relations with Dershowitz numerous times. Dershowitz vehemently denied any wrongdoing and claimed the release of further documents would vindicate him. His representatives did not respond to a request for comment from the Washington Examiner. Now, former President Trump was mentioned in these documents. Trump was one of those cleared of any wrongdoing in the documents, but was mentioned in 4 instances. In 2 of those instances, he was named in relation to his casinos. Like, hey, we got Bill Clinton on the Lolita Express. Let's stop by Atlantic City. Why not? Go see Trump's place. And the other 2 instances of Trump being referred to in these documents, a witness said she never saw or massage former President Trump. Trump's representatives did not respond to a request for comment. Another big one, Stephen Hawking. The renowned astrophysicist was named ambiguously in the documents based on an email from Epstein to now convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, in which he offered a reward for anyone who could disprove that Hawking participated in an underage orgy. Huh? You can issue a reward to any of Virginia's friends. Now, Virginia is the woman whose name is all over this case, that really brought this case against Ghislaine Maxwell. But you can issue a reward to any of Virginia's friends, acquaintances, family that come forward and help prove her allegations are false. The strongest is the Clinton dinner, and the new version in the Virgin Islands that Stephen Hawking participated in an underage orgy. And then the last big name in all this, Michael Jackson. Uh-oh. Wait, the Bard, the King of Pop? While Jackson was not directly implicated in any sexual abuse, a witness said she saw the pop star at Epstein's Palm Beach residence. Though she met him while she was with Epstein, she said she did not give Jackson a massage. So those are just some of the high-profile names coming out of this. But again, just to reiterate the point, you were hearing it on the earlier show. You're going to hear this on many shows that are going to break this down. But this has been, I think, the running most plausible theory for a while now. I'm reading this from Eric Weinstein. He said, for those more interested in the relationship of Epstein to the intelligence community than in lurid celebrity details, I recommend searching document 1320-9 for claims about a secret non-prosecution agreement, or NPA. Grateful for any other such pointers. Thanks in advance. And so here's a screenshot I'm looking that Weinstein provided. And he says, the government was well aware of Jane Doe 3. I'm reading right from the court document. The government was well aware of Jane Doe 3 when it was negotiating a non-prosecution agreement, as it listed her as a victim in the attachment of the non-prosecution agreement. Moreover, even a rudimentary investigation of Jane Doe 3's relationship to Epstein would have revealed the fact that she had been trafficked throughout the United States and internationally for sexual purposes. Again, I'm reading right from court documents, folks. Nonetheless, the government secretly negotiated a non-prosecution agreement with Epstein, precluding any federal prosecution in the Southern District of Florida of Epstein and his co-conspirators. As with Jane Doe number 1 and number 2, the government concealed the non-prosecution agreement from Jane Doe 3, all in violation of her rights. This is to avoid Jane Doe 3. This is why they kept it from her, from raising powerful objections to a non-prosecution agreement that would have shed tremendous public light on Epstein. Yeah, and you have to ask yourself, who had the power to get these governments to get a U.S. attorney's office to essentially make these agreements with Epstein when he was dead to rights? Now, a lot of this stuff, again, folks, don't buy into the people who are like, we have all the truth, we have all the secrets. Unless you're Alex Jones with literal tape from Bohemian Grove, talking about the cremation of care or something, a lot of this stuff was already public. But what this does is it puts it right there in the record. We're reading now not from just media reports, but anybody can go look this up and read right from court documents, things that were tested in a court of law, submitted as evidence. And, I heard an earlier call in the earlier show, and I think the guy was absolutely spot on. This was an intelligence operation. Jeffrey Epstein was a construct of the CIA or Mossad or somebody. The guy was pretending to be a science lover and wanting to be on the cutting edge of technology. The guy was pretending to be some top-notch financier. In fact, it's Eric Weinstein who said that after meeting with Epstein, he put Epstein and Bernie Madoff in the same box. He got a bad feeling about both of them, and he wasn't sure what the heck was going on with either of them. Well, it turns out Madoff was running one of the biggest Ponzi schemes in human history, unless you want to get into the Federal Reserve and Social Security and the way we run our monetary system in the U.S. That will probably end up being the biggest Ponzi scheme in all of human history. But Madoff, okay, yeah, he was running a Ponzi scheme. He was just a con man. But Epstein gave people the creeps. And again, I think this guy was a construct of many years ago. I think what happened is Epstein wore out his welcome. Or rather, technology caught up with the intelligence communities. They had been running this program. They'd been running this operation for a while. And in the 90s, you can get away with that. The internet was just beginning. There aren't cameras on everybody's so-called phones now. Everybody wasn't holding a very powerful computer in their pocket that could shoot, video in 4K at that time. People weren't able to quickly disseminate information in a credible way outside the usual gatekeepers that run the corporate press. So they could do a lot of this stuff. And you got to wonder, go back decades and decades, how much did people, especially people in power, get away with? But then technology caught up. The internet started to bloom. People started bringing up and looking into, who's this Epstein guy? And then, the cat was out of the bag. And I think this last move of, let's give him a non-prosecution agreement. Let's protect him for one last time. Tell him to be low profile. He wasn't. So, oh no, we got to arrest him. And oh no, he's dead. And we'll just claim it's a suicide. So I don't think we'll ever see something like this in this way again. I think this is a sort of intelligence operation of the late 20th century. Does that mean intelligence ops and, ways of compromising people have gone by the wayside altogether? No, of course not. I think there are so many ops right now. There are so many people manipulating the American people that it would make your head spin. And they have techniques and methods more sophisticated than we probably know. It's why I am so hardcore about, in 2013, when Edward Snowden blew the whistle, is because the means and methods these people now possess in the intelligence agencies, they know more about you than you know about yourself. Seriously, imagine you went to some agency and you said, I want to run for office, do some Oppo research on me. Look under every nook and cranny of my life. And in fact, don't just, do the usual information gathering. What I want you to do is also use advanced techniques of metadata. I want you to track where I go each day, given all the GPS devices we hold on ourselves every day. And I want you to lay out the patterns of my life so I can look at my life from the outside removed. It'd be one thing if you yourself commissioned that. Said, hey, I want to do this so I can understand myself. I got to button things up. I'm running for office or something. But what if they're not waiting for your consent? And what if to collect the information, they don't even have to think about you? They just collect everything. And if you cause any problems, then they can tap into their little database there. Well, let's look up Joey Clark and everything he's ever done. And even if you can't find something on Joey Clark, maybe I'm the most boring MFer ever to exist in this world. Like, he literally just sleeps all day and watches old Star Trek episodes. Plays with the dog. Like, the guy, he doesn't even have a sex life. Like, he does nothing. What are we going to get him on? Like his gluttony? Everybody can see that for themselves. Just look at his side profile. He looks pregnant. But this guy's so boring, we don't have anything on him. Well, in this day and age, even if you can't get something on a person, they can easily make it up. Easily. There are certain accusations that you just can't survive. And as we're entering a world where you cannot necessarily trust, myself included, when I'm looking at on this screen or that screen or that screen, when information is just churned out, and half the time it's not even human beings doing it, do you really think you could survive an accusation if somebody really wanted to take you out with these means and methods? Of course not. Now, I don't know how we close up Pandora's box again and get all the strife, all the pestilence, all the evil in the world and suffering that it brought. Put it all back in the box. I don't know how we do that, but my inkling is if we get back to something like the Bill of Rights, if we get back to things like our Fourth Amendment liberties, if we're actually serious about protecting the rights to conscience, and that it won't be some secretive government agency with their weird, fake, constructed financier who wants to be on the cutting edge of technology so he can have Stephen Hawking come have sex on some island. Oh, yeah, do it again. Sorry about that. Actually, if you want to know the type of orgies Hawking like, just go watch The Greatest Showman with Hugh Jackman. P.T. Barnum. I think that's what Hawking was into. But they don't need any of that now. Your life is completely monitored. And for the vast majority of us, will it really affect us? Probably not. Not directly. But anybody that might try to rise up and be our champion if we don't like what this government is doing or the people in power are doing, oh, they're going to get it. You're already seeing it with Donald John Trump. They were spying on the man. They were talking about impeachment before he was ever sworn in. And by the way, a lot of us on the right, I didn't vote for Trump in 2016. Even a lot of us who didn't vote for that guy initially. We remember how you didn't give him a chance. He wasn't even president yet. And he already had the national security state and the corporate media doing a hit job on Trump himself, on his incoming attorney general, and on his national security advisor that, by the way, wanted to clean things up and reform the intelligence agencies. That all went down. You'll see them do it if Ron DeSantis rises in this primary. They'll do it to DeSantis. They'll certainly do it to Vivek Ramaswamy. They probably won't touch Nikki Haley because, well, I think she's part of the problem. But this is why we have to get back to defending our liberties jealously. Everybody's liberties jealously. Or else we're going to continue down this road of making distinctions of friends and enemies, and we'll be overly charitable, even to the point of lying every day on behalf of our friends, and we'll be overly uncharitable, just mean-spirited to those we deem enemies, even when our enemies might have a good redeeming point. And it'll just be the war of all against all. Welcome to 2024. But I don't think we have to live in that world. I don't think the average person necessarily wants to live in that world. But that's where we're going. Out of the name of necessity, and we must defeat the other side. Let's do away with the rules. And if, they're not going to follow the rules on the other side, why are we following the rules on this side? And then it just becomes a race to the bottom, the lowest common denominator. And we're about to see how deep the rabbit hole goes. 272-9228. In a way, Jeffrey Epstein is now the meme that changed a lot of people's minds. For me, it was definitely the Snowden leaks. That's where my mind really started to change. I'd already had an inclination towards liberty. Always been an individualist. Maybe it's my Catholic upbringing, talking about the natural law and having a properly formed conscience. But when I started to really go, I think this government is run by some bad people who at best have good intentions and are willing to do immoral things, but at worst are actually demons, sociopaths, psychopaths. They enjoy the game of controlling and manipulating and hurting others. They enjoy instrumentalizing people, making people a function of their pleasure and their power. And then it just got really worse under COVID. And now I'm like, well, I think everything, all these institutions need a massive reboot. Bring out the wrecking ball. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by, Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings, and I believe they're back open off of vacation, Christmas, New Year's vacation. And folks, if you're looking for high quality jewelry items, they've got it there at Dillon Rings. Now, it could be high end, stuff that's antique, stuff that's heirloom, stuff that's really special. The top-notch stones, top-notch diamonds. And so if you want to surprise somebody early, or maybe you've already saved up for Valentine's Day, go to Dillon Rings. They can help you out there. They also, ladies, have everyday jewelry. That way, if you want to go to the beach or you want to just go out in town, have fun, you can still look great, but it's not the end of the world if you mess something up, if you lose something. And then, of course, there at Dillon Rings, they're a full-service jewelry shop. So whether you're looking to get a spa treatment, a cleaning of that jewelry, maybe reset a stone, could be you need to just repair something like a watch, or maybe you want a custom designed piece of jewelry. Well, Josh Ryder, the man's an artist. If you can dream it, Josh Ryder can make it a reality. So check out Dillon Rings today. You can always go to DillonRings.com, but I really encourage you to stop by that showroom, 119 Brown Springs Road, just off of Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie Ryder that Joey from News and Views in the Afternoon sent you. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
What's up, bro? How you?
How you doing, Randall?
I know you're lonely, so I just called and top it up with you, bro.
I'm a little lonely, but I'm getting kind of used to it. There are worse things than being alone.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of stuff, everything's worse than being alone. Man,
Yeah, there are worse things than being alone, but most people don't realize that until it's too late, Randall. There's nothing worse than being too late.
But I don't know, man. When you're alone and you sit there with your thoughts and it's meditating without thinking about meditating, and you think you ain't really praying and you talking to yourself, but you're really talking to your soul, which is talking to God, and
Yep.
You're working things out, so that's a good fight. You know where we are with this, man. We fighting these battles every day, and but on the I just went blank. What you do?
I'm just talking about Epstein, but I'm more taking it as like, this is a lot of stuff we already knew. It's just great to see it confirmed through a court of law. And it's also an example. I think this is like one of the big memes, if you will. Epstein, just the name, that woke a lot of people up from their slumber.
Yeah, so like we know he didn't have the degree to be in that college, all that stuff, just like you said, is out there. And really, they can go through your backside of your computer and they can plant anything they want.
Yep.
So what it is, they can get these people in so many ways. It ain't got to be so much money spent to take them out of the island. So I think a little deeper is how you got to dive on this one, because on the surface, like if you just want to take control of somebody, and like you said, that's why I know Trump opposition. They wouldn't never let this one person mess up their whole little thing.
Exactly.
I mean, they wouldn't, and they wouldn't let Elon Musk be making the money if they didn't want. He wasn't playing on that team also, right? And they have to give you stuff to hold on to, and to make you, think they're playing for your side. And we we got to sit back and I guess realize I ain't saying that we ain't got no hope because I mean it opened the door. Trump does show stuff and he makes people rattle. And I think Vivek, when he comes, we're getting off subject. We're going back to to him. I don't think he's dead. You know how
you don't think Jeffrey Epstein's dead?
No, heck no. Because they could have showed that. You could have videoed that. If he really hung himself, why would you care? I mean, why wouldn't you just show it? It wouldn't be that big a deal because that's what they're holding their head on is that everybody thinks he killed himself when in actuality he ain't dead. And neither is the well, I was still on Epstein. But I can't think of those names, but I ain't supposed to tell. But yeah, he ain't dead, bro.
Well, have you seen the videos of folks who would do like the Mission Impossible like mask that people would look on to look like a completely different person? And I think it was done in documentaries where this one lady who was in charge of all that, sort of disguised as, went into the Oval Office, I believe, with Clinton. And Clinton, or it was either Clinton or H.W. Bush, they didn't recognize them at all. And so if they were able to do that years ago, again, I think a lot of these techniques are gone from, say, the compromise on human beings just straight up to now it's so digital that you can make up compromise where none even doesn't even exist.
Yeah, I don't think they even. I don't think the real part of them is here. Like Kanye West. Yeah, I know. You know what I mean? That's saying. Golly, I'm trying to stay on point, man. Because they all connected how they died and stuff they were doing. Them two and how Kanye. You can tell that ain't him, man. So they can get rid of you. You can see the spot. He's gone. But Epstein, I think, is under the water. That's where they go to. They got a whole, and you look at Zuckerberg out there in Hawaii. He's been building that underground bunker out there for years, brother.
Oh,
I mean, since he is put. I mean, they can live under there forever. Right now, they ain't even got to come out. They got everything they need. New York's even got a motel or apartment thing that's got everything that you want. It's 17 floors underground. The child care is there. Everything's there. You don't leak. You know what I mean? The 15-minute city, they trying to get them in play, but so we have more control over it. All that's coming down the pipe. But back to the lecture at hand. That man, they using. If he was dead, they could show you that. But in your mind, they want you to think that, so you don't believe he's alive because there ain't no way. It's just like the Titan, man. The Titan. I'm gonna tell you just how connect them to the man at Ocean Gate. His name. If you look him up, he's an inbred. The two people he's in bloodline with. They both signed Declaration of Independence. He is named after him. So if you look up the dude on Ocean Gate, because I'm blanking on his name right now, I ain't got my book in front of him. But he's not dead either. They planning this fake alien invasion. The dude who brought his son on the Titan with him, he was.
So Ocean Gate is like the guys who tried to go in that submersible to see the Titanic and it blew up on them, but they're not actually dead.
Oh, I'm trying to. So you'll believe me about Epstein? I'm trying to connect it where you would see how that man ain't dead. The dude that took his son, he's been on a board in California and a chairman. He's been doing this whole lot. A place called SECHI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. And the dude on Ocean Gate, $18 million of your tax dollar money went into that so-called cheap submarine. During colleges, and it was called when they was taking it through there, and it was going in the ocean getting up DNA. And DNA is going to match this book. If you want to know what they're going for, it's called Gods of DNA. There's a book called Gods of DNA, and they're gonna show the people who's gonna need scientific proof about aliens. They got it. They're planning right now. That dude at Ocean Gate, that's what he's been doing his whole tenure, and we paid for it. $18 million. I promise you. You can look it up. He went to 2 different colleges. I don't have a notebook, so I can't tell you the colleges, but I promise you that Titan was named Cyclops 1 and Cyclops 2, I think is what it was, if I ain't mistaken. But it's 1 and 2 or something. But it went through 2 different colleges, and he's been collecting DNA in the ocean that ain't human form. Right. And so the book, and the other cat that was on the Titan, he had been down to the Titanic 35 times or 37 times on 5 different submarines. If that man thought that thing was unsafe, he would never got in it. The dude was a pro.
And it is possible that they are dead as an actual accident, but I don't know. I think if what you're saying is anywhere near the truth, we're in a lot of trouble.
We just got to beat this fake.
Well, and also, Randall, you got to. This game could get so complicated that a lot of the stuff you might be reading could be disinformation too.
Well, someone I pay for it now, and if you do go to the Black Vault, I ain't gonna lie, Obama gave us a lot. And somebody that listened to stuff like microwaves was the first way they was ever listened to us in the '70s. That's why the microwave pushed to me. That was the first listen. Like the first time they could use this stuff against us was after 9/11.
Right.
That gave them the option. They can use it when they want to. And like you saying, we're gonna have to get in our mindset that now everything we look at, you're right. You're gonna have to search it from 2 different sides, get it from 3 different perspectives before we do how you perceive it.
I hear you, man, and you get it. But this is also why I always come back to work on the stuff you can control, work on yourself, and I know you are, and I know you're doing the right things, because whenever I try to figure out all the connections and try to solve all the world's problems, it drives me a little nuts. So I don't want you doing that to yourself too much, or anybody doing that for that matter.
Yes, sir. But then like I told you about our partner Greg, man. By the end of this year, it's summer, he's gonna be saying Happy New Year again. I'm not gonna let that, man. I can't let that happen, man. And he thinks there ain't no hope. So I got to get on my horse a little harder, man. I'm gonna try to keep it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not taking two. Well, I'm not taking 3 of my medicines, man, because it slows me down too much, and I can't articulate fast enough, and I got it. So yeah, if you need to cut me off sometime, like I messed up today bad this morning. I said, man,
it's all right, Randy.
I messed up bad. So yeah, but I can't. I got my partner Greg gonna be hollering happy, baby, when he's riding the bicycle, because I ain't letting that happen. Now, he ain't the only one, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is the one you know.
I know we're kind of weather vanes in a way here, watching this stuff every day. I got to run, Randall. I appreciate the call, man.
Yes,
you're good. 272-9228. At about 12:45 and about 8 minutes, we're going to have Coach Tommy Tuberville, the senior senator from the great state of Alabama there in the United States Senate. Look forward to talking to Coach Tuberville about the border, he has a new bill trying to protect VA benefits, as well as, whatever else comes up. It should be a fun discussion. But real quick, first, let's go to line 1. You're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, this is George. Am I on the air?
Yes, sir.
Well, okay. Here's something that occurred to me and today about the 14th Amendment. There's much discussion about that, about insurrectionists and all that stuff. I don't know when. I've got to research some more details. But from about 1875 until 1900, every member of Congress from the old Confederacy who went to the U.S. Congress was an insurrectionist by definition, because they were from the South. Now, in theory, they should not have been elected because they were insurrectionists. And that applies to governors and senators, U.S. senators, U.S. representatives. But nobody said anything about it back then.
No, there was a lot of folks that I saw that so-and-so in a Confederate uniforms. It could be some of those folks elected didn't actually serve in that capacity. I think it was actually, did you take up arms? But also, I'll admit fully that period in time, I only know the broad swipes there. I don't know the details of it.
Okay. I'm going to research this some more.
Okay.
Because it intrigues me that the governor of Alabama was at the Battle of Little Round Top. And but that's not a federal office, being governor of Alabama.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Well, I appreciate the call, George. Yeah, keep looking into it. I need to read up on that whole Civil War, post-Civil War era myself again. So.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, sir. And we headed a break, but first, this part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And their Pest Pro Services, Ashley and her team do amazing work. And I have to thank one audience member. I don't even know who it was, but I got a message from one of the people that work there at Pest Pro who said they called up Pest Pro Services at 265-9990 because of News and Views in the afternoon. That I appreciate very much. thank you all for telling them. And yes, if you're looking for termite treatment, whether you got termites or you're trying to prevent them, Pest Pro Services is the best in town by far. They can, of course, also help you with any of your potential pest control problems. So give them a call today, 265-9990. Make them your everyday company. They'll come out and get you on a quarterly schedule. Again, 265-9990. Or you can always search PPS River Region or search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services, and be sure to tell them, well, you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. Hopefully, on the other side of this break, we'll have Coach Tommy Tuberville. Y'all stay tuned.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
You asked, we listened. Rocky Bottom Materials is now offering full-service landscaping and irrigation installation. Do you need landscape renovations or new landscaping for your property? Tired of dragging water hoses all summer to water your lawn? We can help. Let us create your dream landscape and install an automatic sprinkler system. We can solve any drainage issue in your yard. No more dealing with the mud all winter. Call us at 334-215-3704. Schedule an appointment with our professionals. Rocky Bottom, where beauty and functionality are just a call away.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Well, hi, everybody. We're enjoying this nice little break in between storm systems with a good bit of sunshine today. Cool with a high in the mid-50s. Clear, cold, 33 tonight. Friday's high up to about 58. A mostly cloudy day. Could be some isolated showers in the afternoon. Then rain and thunderstorms becoming likely Friday night and maybe into early Saturday. Locally heavy rainfall amounts. Mostly cloudy for much of the day. Near 60 on Saturday. Upper 50s on Sunday. Still dry. Another big round of rain and thunderstorms and locally heavy rain Monday night into Tuesday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Thank you once again for voting ASE the best credit union and best mortgage company in Central Alabama's Reader's Choice Awards. We're honored to serve our members for 69 years and counting. ASE Credit Union, your life, your goals, your ASE.
Hey y'all, this is Tammy at Mama's Produce, and it's a new season here. We're not going anywhere. We'll be here through the fall. We've got all of your tailgate needs. We've got breakfast needs. Don't forget we got new sausages in. Those sausages we had last year, they're back. Still got your tomatoes, other fresh vegetables, and we're going to have some new things coming online, so stay tuned to our Facebook page and look out.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Do you have a cell phone or tablet that isn't charging, dying fast, or maybe the screen is damaged? Don't get suckered into buying a new one. XI Repair can fix your current device same day and in under 30 minutes. Their certified technicians fix and recover data from thousands of cell phones, computers, tablets, game consoles, and drones 7 days a week. Give them a call today at 334-777-1234 or visit them online at xirepair.com.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Now, as promised, folks, we have on the phone line here United States Senator, but you better call him Coach Tommy Tuberville. Coach, how you doing this afternoon?
Happy New Year, Joy, and everybody there in the river area. It's good to be on.
Yeah, good to have you on. And real quick before we get into some of the big issues, this week for 1819 News, I wrote about how Alabama needs to make swatting a felony here in our great state. I know that happened to your family recently. Everybody all right? What was that like?
Yeah, no, they brought up the SWAT team in Auburn. They closed the street down. I think the people in the neighborhood got a little nervous, but it's just typical wackos. I deal with them every day in Washington, D.C., and this was, I think, a Google call over the internet, and they can't catch people doing that. It's just unfortunate. But like you said, it is against the law, but nobody's ever punished. Heck, you can do anything in this country now and not get punished unless you're a Republican.
Yeah, that's the thing. You got to challenge the Democrats. Then they'll really put you in prison. It's amazing to see whether you're a president or anybody else for that matter.
Yeah. President Trump's got 91 charges against him. And it's just unfortunate how this whole thing's going, but it'll get all straightened out. I will tell people across the country that, and people there in our area, that this next 10 months is going to be interesting. I think the creatures will come out, and Democrats are going to do everything possible to keep the Senate, get the House back, and obviously get somebody elected president. I don't know who I guess they're pushing Nikki Haley now. My understanding is a lot of Democrats are getting on her side, but that's fine. President Trump's going to win, and we need somebody that's going to fight for the people.
Now, and one big issue that President Trump changed the conversation on is the border. And my goodness, I think it was over 250,000 people just last month, into the month of December. What the heck is going on? Like, how? I don't know. I don't even know what my question is, because I look at Mayorkas, I look at all these folks, and I just want to, start yelling at them.
Well, Mayorkas claims that climate change is caused. No, these people are nuts. Climate is not a hoax. We can't affect the climate. But they run on things that you can't really prove unless you really dig down deep. But the border's a shame. I've been down there several times, and they're not going to do anything. Right now, we got the Rhino Republicans in the Senate supposedly working out a deal with them to do something at the border. And as I tell every day, I said, listen, they're holding the taxpayers hostage, $100 billion in Ukraine, or they're not going to do anything at the border. I mean, the American people ought to see what's going on here. They're holding the American people hostage. But even if they did come to a deal, Joy, say put 6 or 7 more laws on the books, they don't go by the laws anyway. And they'll break every one of them just to get $100 billion to either stick in their pocket or Zelensky's pocket and keep this supposedly war going. That's not ever going to be won by Ukraine. It's just a money grab.
It really is a shame to watch. And you got to wonder, what's the cost to the nation now that all these, it's probably millions of folks have gotten in from all over the world. I mean, I'm thinking of local school districts. I'm thinking of hospitals. I'm thinking of all of our public infrastructure is now taking all this in. And I believe you have a bill to protect VA benefits from any sort of this ballyhoo going to illegals, right?
Yeah, I'm on the VA committee, and we passed billions of dollars to help our veterans. And I'll give you this little stat here, Joy. We got 22 million veterans, and we have the biggest healthcare system in the world for the VA. But they can only a 10 to 11 million because they stay booked and depressed and, their union. And so what happens, you can't get rid of the bad ones. You have to keep them. And so it's just unfortunate that our veterans, they do what they do. We owe them everything we can give them. But now what they're doing, the Biden administration, is using doctors and community care areas all over the country to service and give health care to these illegal immigrants. And so that makes the lines even longer. So before we left for Christmas, I put a bill out. Of course, Schumer's not going to do anything to it or with it. He has to bring it to the floor. But I'm trying to bring it to light of what these crazies are doing. I mean, they're spending money, number one, we don't have. We spent $500 billion in the last 3 years taking care of these illegal immigrants. But they don't care about this country. They just trying to put it in a situation where, we're turning into a socialist country. Now, this all started under Obama, and he basically forced Europe to take all these Syrians and refugees over in Europe and Germany and France and Italy, and it's ruined their country. They have no control of their country now because all these immigrants are running the show, don't go by the laws, they don't assimilate. We're going to do the same thing here. I mean, again, this is Obama, Biden, transition this country into something else. And so American people got to see what's going on, because if we don't change direction in November of next year, we're done for. We are absolutely done for.
And again, folks, we're talking to United States Senator Tuberville, Coach Tuberville, if you know him a little bit. And, just kind of digging a little bit how the Senate works. Because, you're seeing all these New Year headlines from the likes of Politico and other Beltway rags that are saying things to the effect of that Schumer is really looking forward to getting things done this year. But when I hear that sort of talk, we're going to get things done, I usually, pardon me, think I'm about to get screwed.
Oh, you definitely are. Anytime he opens his mouth, he breaks the law. These people don't go or understand or want to go by the Constitution. They want a new Constitution. That's what they're trying to do. And so they're trying to get enough people in this country where they can change the voting apparatus in terms of Texas, number one. If they ever control Texas, the Democrats will be a socialist communist country in 10 years. So that's what this is all about. They want a one-world government. I guess Obama wants to be the president of the world, to be honest with you. He's behind all this along with Biden and all their lackeys. I see it every day. People go, this can't be true. Coach has been up there. He hadn't been a politician. I'm a veteran politician. I've been through everything in my first 3 years, and I've seen an absolute joke of what this country is turning into, from our education to our military, FBI, CIA, and we're $34 trillion in debt. Our roads ought to be made of gold, right, for how much money we spent. But most of this money is going to climate change.
Right, a problem that can't really be solved, so we have to just perpetually keep trying to solve it, right, with other people's money. Just amazing. I want to say thank you to the votes you did, I believe, on the NDAA, and, pushing back, wanting to, I believe, strip out the so-called FISA reauthorization. I know you were one of the yes votes there, and I really do appreciate that. And
well, yeah, the NDAA is very important to all of our country, not just Alabama, and it's the budget for our military. I tried to hold up on a lot of these woke generals and stuff, but even the Rhino Republicans went around me trying to change the rules. They don't like anybody fighting back on the Democrats, but I'm going to keep fighting back. But, the FISA, the warrants that they've been able to do after 9/11, going after normal citizens, I mean, it's just another power grab, Joy, by the federal government, and we don't need that.
We really don't. And, they always say up in Washington, at least from where I'm sitting at this humble perch here in Alabama, that, we just ran out of time with the normal budgeting process. So I think we're still working off spending levels Senator Shelby and Senator Leahy put up there on the way out the door as they retired. Are we ever going to have an actual budget? And do these excuses hold water? Oh, we just ran out of time to do normal budgeting, so we have to do another big omnibus spending bill.
Yeah, and that's what they've done for years, Joey. We've got an appropriations committee, but it hadn't functioned. This year they've tried to do a little something, but again, when you've got a Democratic leader in the Senate, it doesn't make any difference. He he's going to put what he wants to on the plate. He wants another omnibus. That's the reason that we're still kicking the can down the road with a Republican speaker like Mike Johnson. Now, I think he's going to hold up for the American people. He needs to. I don't. I'm inclined right now to shut the government. If they don't close this border, it's not going to make any difference whether they have a budget or not. All the money is going to go to illegal immigrants. So we have got to have some kind of authority in terms of shutting this spigot off to all this money that the American taxpayers are spending, and we don't have it. And people don't realize, taxes are going to go sky high, when we got to pay this bill, and it's just unfortunate. People sitting back and enjoying a pretty good time right now if you've got a pretty good job, but only time will tell on all these taxes that the American people are going to have to pay this debt.
Now, before I let you go, has there been any breakthroughs on protecting Title IX, on protecting women's sports, essentially?
We're having a big meeting tomorrow down in South Georgia. People are coming from all over the country. We're going to talk about this and visit with it. It just shows to show you, where this group stands when they want men to play in women's sports. And where are the feminists? Where are the feminist groups that actually got Title IX done 50 years ago? Now we got a different group wanting to just destroy Title IX. It's amazing to me how all this is working. But it just goes to show you, where the Democrats stand on any issue, especially social issues. And, we have got to get control of how we're doing things right now through the federal government with our military. It's becoming so woke, we're not even going to have a military. We got people getting out right and left because of things that are being taught. And it just, heaven forbid, what's being taught in our higher education and our schools with all these broken unions that we have all over the country.
Yeah, it really is. It's like almost everything is flashing warning red lights right now on the big things and even smaller issues that still, I think, show an upheaval of our values. And they're destroying our money and destroying our values at the same time. And it's frustrating to watch. I hate reporting on, at least in my own way, the decline of a great nation.
Yeah, next 10 months are going to be very interesting, Joy. Next 10 months, there's going to be a lot of arguing and poking fingers and going through things that this country shouldn't have to go through. If we'd all just become Americans, don't worry about race or religion or wealth. You've got opportunities here, opportunities that you don't have in any other country, and we're trying to ruin that. And unfortunately, they're pushing all this racism stuff. Racism is a attitude. Okay, I dealt with kids all my life.
Yeah.
I never looked at it. I was colorblind. Hey, I didn't care who you were because I had to win games. And that's what we have to do in this country. We can't worry about anything other than people doing their own job, whether I don't care who they are, be an American, go by the Constitution, go by the law, work hard, and you can achieve anything you want. But this group of Democrats wants to give everybody something and point out racism. There has been racism. But we need to get away from that. We need to get back to the attitude of being an American. I don't care who you are.
Amen, sir. Amen. Well, Coach, I appreciate the time as always. Best of luck. And you're right. What a year it's going to be here this next 10 months. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Joy.
Again, folks, that's Coach Tommy Tuberville there. Always great having time to chat with him. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. We'll be, he said, right back after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. The suspect in a shooting at an Iowa high school has died. Police in Perry, Iowa say multiple people were shot at that city's high school. Two gunshot victims were taken by ambulance to a hospital in the state capital of Des Moines. That's about 40 miles southeast of Perry. Dallas County Sheriff Adam Infante says an active shooter was reported at Perry High School before school started today. Officers responded about 7 minutes later. A Georgia sheriff's deputy was killed this morning after being struck by another law enforcement vehicle during a police chase that spilled over into Alabama. The Coweta County Deputy Sheriff Eric Minix was killed. On Wall Street, the Dow up 139 points, the Nasdaq losing 7. This is SRN News.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, and evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word faith to 989898 and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
The Ridge Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Alabama's personal injury attorney, me, Johnny Adams of the Johnny Adams Law Firm. Stay weather alert, everyone.
Well, hi, everybody. We're enjoying this nice little break in between storm systems with a good bit of sunshine today. Cool with a high in the mid-50s. Clear, cold, 33 tonight. Friday's high up to about 58. A mostly cloudy day. Could be some isolated showers in the afternoon. Then rain and thunderstorms becoming likely Friday night and maybe into early Saturday. Locally heavy rainfall amounts. Mostly cloudy for much of the day, near 60 on Saturday. Upper 50s on Sunday, still dry. Another big round of rain and thunderstorms and locally heavy rain Monday night into Tuesday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. Montgomery police have charged a 14-year-old boy with capital murder. Police say the teen fatally shot a 17-year-old boy in the 2100 block of Rexford Road on December 27th. The suspect was arrested Wednesday and taken to the Montgomery County Youth Detention Facility and held without bail. Motive remains unknown. Ford is recalling over 100,000 F-150 pickup trucks over concerns a rear axle hub could break off. The recall applies to 2021 through 23 F-150s that have the Tow Max Duty package. Owners having problems related to the rear axle bolt should take the truck to a dealer for a temporary repair. Alabama regulators ended 2023 with a promise that the first legal sale of medical marijuana will happen this year. Meanwhile, a judge has blocked the state from issuing the dispensary permits necessary until a lawsuit is settled. Medical marijuana remains unavailable in Alabama more than 2 years after it was legalized. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
Hello, this is David Ernest with Ernest Financial. And just like Ernest Financial makes lots of money for our clients, Blue Water has helped us make lots of money for our company. You cannot go wrong with advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
You're all set with your Medicare prescriptions, Mrs. Brown.
This is not just low-cost copays at Walgreens.
I can actually help you set up 90-day refills if you want.
This is having a partner you can trust. Get low-cost copays, 90-day refills, and delivery from your neighborhood Walgreens. This is being independent. Together. Walgreens.
Restrictions apply. For details, see walgreens.com/pharmacy.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I am your host, Joey Clark. 272-9228. If you want to get in on the program, that's 272-9228. Now, following up on this whole border discussion, I want to go to a clip here now of, this is Speaker Mike Johnson. Speaker Johnson recently interviewed by Jake Tapper on this issue. But you just heard Coach, folks, that even if we gave more money to the border right now under this current administration, they'd probably just use it to flaunt the law even more. And I think that's exactly the point Mike Johnson is going to try to drive home here. Yeah, it really is amazing the amount of, lying that just goes on because people, don't want the same thing. It's a lot of lost trust, and it's hard to gain back that trust. But we'll see again what happens in the next 10 months. Now, here is Mike Johnson talking with Jake Tapper, CNN, on the border issue, and I imagine a few other issues.
You're at the border today, and I presume you're seeing a very dire situation, hardworking border agents, who can't do their jobs with what they have. They need more money. They need more colleagues. They need more beds for asylum seekers. They need more funding. How come the House has not yet touched this $14 billion supplemental request from the Biden administration? The White House is hammering you on it. Why not take it up and help these individuals?
Jake, good to be with you. Sorry it's taken so long to come on with you since I became Speaker. Listen, this is a catastrophe down here. And what the White House is proposing is more money to process and allow more illegals into the country. We need to do the opposite of that. And this is, you don't need to take my word for it. Listen to the Deputy Chief of the U.S. Border Patrol, who was with us last night, and he told us in his own words, he said, it's as if I'm at an open fire hydrant. I don't need more buckets to dump the water. He said, I need to turn the flow off. That's why we're here today, Jake. We had 64 House Republicans here representing 26 states and 1 U.S. territory, everybody from California to Maryland, Michigan to Florida, because every state in America is a border state right now. This catastrophe can come to an end if the Biden administration will do its job, and they've refused to do it. They're doing the opposite.
So the $14 billion, there are, you're right, 1,600 asylum officers that would be part of that to speed up processing of asylum claims. That's what you're talking about. But there also would be 1,300 more Border Patrol agents to work alongside the 20,200, and also funding to hire 1,000 Custom and Border Protection officers with a focus on counter fentanyl. So it's not all, in fact, most of it is not related to processing asylum seekers. A lot of it has to do with what you're talking about.
Jake, the president should come to the border. What an idea that would be. He should talk to the Border Patrol agents who are down here.
I think he went last year.
He didn't go last year, you dope. This is, again, well, he went to, Arizona. He'd go to the border. He went to a freaking town north of the border in Arizona. He didn't go toward the corporate media is just miserable. Go on, Speaker Johnson.
Yeah, well, he went for a photo op. He should come and spend a couple of days like we have to be with the people here on the ground who are fighting this war on the border. That's effectively what it is. We have so many people, Jake, 7 million people have come into the country since Biden walked into the Oval Office. And that's a low estimate. Most people believe it may be twice that high. We have nearly 2 million gotaways that we know about, not to mention those who evaded capture. Over 300 known terrorists apprehended at the border trying to come in. We don't know how many evaded capture and detection. They're in the country, potentially setting up terrorist cells everywhere. Fentanyl is the #1 cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 49, flowing over the border like an open sewer. Human trafficking is the #1 business of the cartels here. Estimated, we were told today, Jake, one of the local sheriffs here, said that they believe that the cartels are making $32 million a week on trafficking human beings into the U.S. That's over $1.5 billion a year. Transnational criminal organizations, and the Biden administration seems to care nothing about it. Remember, they could issue executive orders and fix this overnight. You could reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy. You could stop the catch and release policy that the Biden administration insists upon. You could do some very important things, but they refuse to do it.
So just one note on the terrorist thing. There aren't hundreds of known terrorists getting into the country. There are people whose identity have been flagged on a certain database. I just don't want people out there thinking that they're, 200 members of Hamas have flown into the country and we don't even know about it. It's a little bit more complicated. I'm not saying that it's not serious. I'm just saying these aren't.
Yeah, you kind of are, a-hole. Sorry for the outburst, folks. Continue on.
Necessarily terrorists.
That's the terrorist watch list, Jake.
Right.
It takes quite a bit to make that list, okay? These are dangerous people who are coming into the country, and we have hardened criminals who are coming from all these countries around the world. They're opening prisons and sending them here. We saw it today, Jake. We know what's happening. We're talking to the people on the ground. So these are not Republican talking points. This is reality, and the White House needs to wake up to it.
Right, no, and these criminals and individuals have been coming in for years, Republican, Democratic administrations. Let's talk about H.R. 2, because that's the House Republican bill that calls basically to resume some of the Trump-era policies, including building the Trump-era border wall. It would strongly increase the...
I can't anymore with this guy. Just hear what he did right there at the end. Well, I mean, Republicans and Democrats have been doing this for ages with the border. It's like, yeah, we know. Trump certainly knows. Trump had a Republican Congress, and they wouldn't work with him on this. You didn't have enough people like Senator Tuberville up there. Or say somebody like a Senator J.D. Vance. I think our junior senator in Alabama, Senator Britt, would be a strong vote. All that stuff, or I would hope. But no, when Trump first got in there, no, it's business as usual. It's how Democrats and Republicans had always been doing it. That's the problem, Jake Tapper, on the border and everything else. And I saw one of the plainest examples of a rule in politics I've thought of myself, but I'm sure somebody else has thought of the same idea. That in politics, you do not have to prove yourself or your side a saint. Or the whole panoply of saints here on our side. You don't have to prove yourself a saint in politics. You just have to show the other guy, the other side, is a worse sinner or at least an equal sinner. And the example I saw today is, of course, there's all this buzz going around about how much Bill Clinton was palling around with Jeffrey Epstein. And so now trending on Twitter is Trump is a rapist. And that's the way this game is played. If you point out one side's sins, well, you point out the other side's sins. And then it's just sin all the way down. Again, lowest common denominator thinking. I'm dead serious, folks. The more our society and things that should be a voluntary, organic thing coming from people, the more that we make every frickin' decision under the sun through a function of politics, through the political process, the worse everything is going to get. Everything. That Jake Tapper clip, that's exactly the problem. Well, it's been going on for years. It's like, do you not see all these flashing red lights on the dashboard? Do you not see the 34 trillion plus in debt? Do you not see the evisceration of the rule of law in ways big and small across the nation as we become, yes, a nation of men and not laws? Have we not seen how overstretched we are? Stretched thin. So thin you can see right through us when it comes to our ventures abroad to save the world and protect it for democracy. What makes us look strong? Actually having clear priorities that we tell ourselves in the world and following through on those, ones we can actually achieve, or making big promises like we'll do as long as it takes. We'll fund the Ukrainians as long as it takes. Well, maybe we need to negotiate now. Doesn't funding the Ukrainians to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars, and then they still lose their assaults on the Russian defenses, getting chewed up like it's a meat grinder? Does that make the United States look strong? How about how all hell is breaking loose throughout the Middle East? How is having a few hundred troops stationed in Iraq to be hit like sitting ducks project strength? We got problems across the board, and yet we still got people that get paid millions of dollars who are in high cotton right now. Well, this is how it's always been. Well, I'm tired of your excuses. I'm tired of everything being a function of that corrupt imperial town called Washington, D.C. This ain't a republic anymore. Hell, it's not even a democracy. Just a corrupt few that get to pull the levers of power, manipulate, I think, well-meaning people across the board, and have hardly anything to show for it for the general populace. It'd be one thing if we were $34 trillion in debt, and yeah, we had streets paved with gold, to Coach Tuberville's point, but we don't. So it's going to take electing more folks, I think, who actually mean what they say. And I mean that for people that are the most dyed-in-the-wool MAGA Trump folks. And I mean that if you're like some flaming progressive and you genuinely believe that, go for it, man. Because I would rather take an honest, true-believing progressive than all these operators, all these manipulators, all these sociopaths and psychopaths right now that are running the show. So we're not dealing with honest brokers who say what they believe. We're dealing with folks that will throw their own frickin' conscience out the window in order to see their goals met. We're dealing with folks that if, say, one of their own gets in trouble with plagiarism, they'll just redefine plagiarism like that's what academics do all the time, right? They do this with everything. And it's sending us in the wrong direction, to put it mildly. Again, 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. Now, one guy I mentioned in my ranting and raving there is J.D. Vance. And Vance had a remarkable take on the whole plagiarism thing with President Gay of Harvard. I'll read it to you now. This is right from J.D. Vance's X-Platform Twitter page, whatever. Quote, the most important point about Claudine Gay's plagiarism isn't that she was fired, but that she had the job, the most prestigious job in higher education, after an extremely thin record of accomplishment. Oh, see, there you go, JD. You're just trying to keep a black woman down. That's literally how a lot of people think. Doesn't matter that Claudine Gay stole work from another black woman. It's just like, you're just trying to keep folks down. You're holding people to different standards. People are holding folks to the standard that most serves their purposes in the moment. That's what's going on in this country. There aren't any standards. They're just the standards that we whip out occasionally to get our momentary, goal accomplished. Whatever the situation is, we can adopt the right values. Eternal values you actually hold even when it's unpopular. We can't have that. J.D. Vance goes on. He says, Claudine Gay has never published an article, even a plagiarized one, that really mattered or significantly advanced scholarship. She got her job not through merit, but because she checked a box. This is what I was talking about yesterday. I hated going to college at a certain point because it was jumping through hoops and checking boxes. But in this, she is not an outlier. J.D. Vance is right about that. There's nothing unique about Claudine Gay in that regard. But a representative of a system of education that rewards mediocrity. Our entire elite is like this, writes J.D. Vance, senator, brand new one from Ohio. People who got their jobs because they checked boxes, not because they achieved something amazing or accomplished something meaningful. That is now the purpose of our elite universities. That give credentials that signal fake merit rather than rely on real excellence. This is why you should mock the public health experts who want you to mass toddlers in their schools to stop the spread of a respiratory virus. These public health experts are not smart nor accomplished. They have a credential from an institution that cares more about box checking than merit. This is why you should ignore the economists who tell you that mass migration raises wages of the working class or has no effect on housing prices, even though I've heard from multiple corporate leaders that they want more immigration in order to pay their workers lower wages. These economists are not smart or accomplished. They have a credential from an institution that cares more about box checking than merit. This is why, Senator Vance goes on, you should laugh at the foreign policy experts who will tell you that we should allow East Asia to make all our steel, phones, and pharmaceuticals while sending all of our weapons to a war in Eastern Europe that has little to do with our core national interests. These foreign policy experts are not smart or accomplished. They have a credential from an institution that cares more about box checking than merit. This is why you should scorn the attorneys who tell you that Donald Trump committed quote-unquote insurrection and should be thrown off the ballot. They have no special legal knowledge. They are political hacks pretending to be lawyers, and they are not smart or accomplished. They have a credential from an institution that cares more about box checking than merit. This is why you should question the doctors who tell you to prescribe experimental pharmaceuticals to gender-confused children. These doctors are not smart or accomplished. They have a credential from an institution that cares more about box checking than merit. The real story of Harvard is not Claudine Gay's firing, but this. You are ruled by thousands of people who are just as mediocre. Their power relies on tax advantages from the federal government, a DEI bureaucracy backed by Biden's DOJ, and the implicit consent of millions of Americans. I say we withdraw that consent, writes J.D. Vance, and all the favors that come along with it. Yeah. Amen. Amen. And, you know, it's no wonder that under this new Harvard president who's now ousted, still gets to keep her money, that Harvard lost big in the Supreme Court for discriminating on the basis of race against folks in their admissions. I think it's just all designed. All these programs are designed to create discord and mayhem. It's like, you know, let's just roll the apple of discord in there and see how Americans deal with it. It's exactly what's going on. 272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, Bo and his team are ready to help you out, whether you're looking to buy a home here in the River Region real estate market, or you're looking to sell your place, or maybe you're looking to rent out your property. A rental investment's a great idea here in this area, but it can be a pain in the butt to manage that property yourself. If you don't have any experience being a landlord, you might instead, for a very reasonable fee, have the Goodson Group manage it for you. They can find you tenants, work with those tenants, any sort of upkeep, just all the minutia of actually managing a rental investment. The Goodson Group has your back. And then the crown jewel there at the Goodson Group is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed here in the state because of, well, there's proof of how good it is. The proof is folks that went on to great success in the River Region real estate market and beyond, from fully licensed realtors to more knowledgeable private players who learned how to work the market in a smart way. You can learn all that there at the Bo Goodson Real Estate School. He's got 40 plus years of experience he's ready to bring to you. He's learned a lot over the years. You can learn those lessons from Bo himself. So check him out today. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or give him a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson of the Goodson Group. Great sponsor here of News and Views in the afternoon. 272-9228. Just reading all the comments rolling in now. Again, the show is now being live streamed. Joey Clark Live on YouTube. Like and subscribe. Now, Aisha Spencer says, Coach, we need you to get loud. All right. Guess that's a vote for Coach Tuberville. Romex Angler, I just got here, but I doubt I missed anything good in the first hour. Well, I guess you missed Coach Tuberville, you dope. Gumtown John, the religious right should take responsibility for the center-saint dynamic in politics as they are the ones wanting the saints in politics. Yeah, I guess. No, it would be amazing. The power of a man or woman in politics who keeps their pants on? How many of you guys? I don't care if you're mayor or president or senator or a congressman, keep your pants on. I don't care if you're running the fire department or running the police department, or if you're the head of Parks and Rec. Some small town. Keep your pants on. So maybe there's something powerful about that. In fact, if you do keep your pants on in Washington, D.C., I think they look at you odd. They're like, we can't compromise this person in the normal way. He must be like Catholic or something. 272-9228. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Red Top, good afternoon, sir.
How you doing?
And damn, that guy did miss a lot. That was a great interview with the coach.
Thanks, man.
And damn, what an outstanding senator we have. Maybe just the best in my lifetime, because all the rest of them been a bunch of damn crooks and part of the club. So he's a rarity. And golly Moses, I guess he will be running next time, or is he?
No, he says he is. I asked him last time I interviewed him a month or two ago.
That will be 2026, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Or wait. Yeah. 6-year term in the Senate. Yes.
Yeah. So, and you couldn't have spoken more true words. Keep your pants on.
It's just amazing how many of these folks are just, dipping their pen in the company ink, so to speak. It's just like...
Well, it's not just politicians. I'm a contractor, a painter. One reason why I'm so busy is the people trust me, the women trust me, because I keep my pants on. I'm not here to do anything but work, not take my pants off. And, if you're not focused enough to do that, you don't belong to be in the workforce anyway. So,
and maybe there's something to this. Instead of somebody who boredom man identifies as a woman or vice versa or whatever, you could have folks who just straight up go, I'm a eunuch and I'll run for office. I don't have the usual temptations the rest of these dopes do.
Well, that would be much better. Let me tell you something that just happened, though. My customer looks at me. He said, Red Top, is it okay if I go hunting this afternoon? And I say, sir, I'm your contractor. You don't have to ask my permission to go hunting. And the reason why is, this is another reason why I stay so busy. I walk his dog for him while he's out hunting. So not only do I do great carpentry and drywall and painting services, I also will walk your dog if you need me to. And so you wouldn't believe how much business I drum up. People in this neighborhood see me walking around my customers' dogs. They go, you walk dogs too? So not only do they trust me with their wives, they trust me with their dog. And believe me, that's an honor, wouldn't you say, Joey?
Indeed it is.
Roll Tide, go Trump. Thank you, bud.
Thank you, Red Top. 272-9228. Yeah, I guess the moral of this segment is keep your frickin' pants on. And let's actually start behaving. Or at least our leaders should start behaving like this is a serious time with serious issues. But instead, we're going to get the usual bullcrap of, well, everything's fine. We'll just paper over the problem. Once again, we'll just need a little bit more of your money and your liberty, though, to accomplish it. Or manage the problem. We won't solve the problem. We'll manage the problem. 272-9228. Now, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And they're at Alabama Home Mortgage. Kim Williams and her team can help you whether you're looking to buy or, well, refinance a home here in the River region. They're very trusted folks. I trust them. And a lot of our listeners have learned to trust Alabama Home Mortgage because, Kim started in one of these big banks doing a mortgage origination. She was working at one of the larger banks in the area, and she realized, I'm doing good things for people, but I'm not doing the work I know I could do with the skill I have. So she started her own business. That's Alabama Home Mortgage. They actually get to know you, get to know your goals, like whether you're buying or refinancing. And, another great thing about Alabama Home Mortgage is they're VA home loan certified. So they've done the continuing education to be hip to the latest of what's going on with the VA home loan programs. These are benefits you veterans earned through your service. So if you're not using them, you're leaving money on the table. These are the best deals in town. For instance, with a refinance, you can refinance up to 100% of your home's estimated value, which is an amazing deal. And the sort of deals you can get on starting a mortgage, purchasing a home, also amazing as well if you're a veteran. So y'all check out Alabama Home Mortgage today. You can always call Kim and her team at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Like Kim and her team prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Romex Angler says, you must be talking about my people. Not smart and unaccomplished is how I start every day. Well, I know who you really are, Romex, and that's just a lie. You're like a low-key, like, savant, like, super impressive fella. Especially with how you're always able to get folks drunk. Always good to hear from Coach, says Glorious Spam. Good tagline for Red Top, says Rip Rap, is to use in a commercial what he pays for. Hire me. I keep on my pants on. Yeah. Romex is back. He says, can us lowbrow folks take our pants off? No, I just recommend everybody keeps their pants on. I don't care if the attractive strawberry blonde waitress invites you to upstairs to take a bubble bath. You keep your pants on. Well, unless you're single, then but still, you might want to keep your pants on. And if Jeffrey Epstein invites you on his plane, saying we're going to learn the latest in astrophysics from Stephen Hawking, don't just keep your pants on, run away. Run away. Run away quickly. Gumtown John saying, Romex, for the love of God, keep your pants on. Yep. I think that's a good rule of thumb because many a career, many a family, many a man or woman has been ruined by taking them off. 272-9228. But, I mean, would you expect the people that currently run this country to be faithful when it comes to matters of love, given the way they operate in bad faith on everything else? Doubtful. How about this? Let's hit a quick break. More news and views in the afternoon. Well, after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. Is your cell phone or iPad cracked, broken, or not working right? Don't let the big carrier stores sucker you into a new $1,100 device. Let XI Repair fix your device today. XI Repair fixes cell phones, computers, laptops, iPads, game consoles, drones, and more. Their certified technicians fix hundreds of devices every day. When your device needs care, call XI Repair, 334-777-1234, or Google XI Repair. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Hi, everybody. We're enjoying this nice little break in between storm systems with a good bit of sunshine today. Cool with a high in the mid-50s. Clear, cold, 33 tonight. Friday's high up to about 58. A mostly cloudy day. Could be some isolated showers in the afternoon. Then rain and thunderstorms becoming likely Friday night and maybe into early Saturday. Locally heavy rainfall amounts. Mostly cloudy for much of the day. Near 60 on Saturday. Upper 50s on Sunday. Still dry. Another big round of rain and thunderstorms and locally heavy rain Monday night into Tuesday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Greg Powell saying we can only see your top half. Pants not required. That's a good point. I could be sitting here giving a lecture to everybody else, and I could be just as hypocritical as all the people I'm criticizing. Now, I kind of like having pants on. I don't want to feel exposed while I'm ranting and raving in public. Again, 272-9228. Or if you like all these others who are commenting, we're getting a lot of comments now on the live stream. Joey Clark Live on YouTube. You can always like and subscribe there. Appreciate it. If you do, tell your friends. Now, here is a fascinating sit down. This is Vivek Ramaswamy with a couple of folks from Meet the Press, but also Iowa-based, Des Moines Register, I believe. And Vivek actually gets into the case for why he should be picked over Donald John Trump. We'll see what happens.
Mr. Ramaswamy, thank you for joining us for the NBC News Des Moines Register interview series, Closing Arguments, Iowa.
Good to be here.
Welcome to the Des Moines Register newsroom.
It's good to be here.
So you completed yesterday what you're calling the double Grassley, the first time we've seen somebody complete the 99 county tour twice. But so far, if there's a groundswell of support for your campaign, it's yet to materialize in the polls. You said last week that you think you can win the Iowa caucuses. What are you seeing? What evidence on the ground do you see that the polls and the pundits are missing right now?
Just even take our biggest event last night. It was pretty representative of what we're seeing across the board. 90% of the people who came up afterwards, taking pictures, saying they support us, signing up as volunteers, are first-time caucus goers. So I think a lot of the polls are badly underestimating the level of support we have from college campuses, from libertarians, from conservatives and America First patriots, but who have not shown up at a traditional Republican caucus before. And so if those people come out, and I expect they will, they tell us they will, they're very actively engaged with our campaign, those numbers are growing by the week, I think we're going to be very successful at the Iowa caucus. I am highly confident we're going to shatter the expectations that have been set for us, and I do believe we have a shot at winning the Iowa caucus if many of those people do come out. And so I feel very good about where we sit, and we're excited for the path to the finish line.
Now, that's a bold thing for Vivek Ramaswamy to say. That's really calling a shot, and we'll see if they actually pull it off. Right now, I think Trump wins the Iowa caucus. Trump wins New Hampshire. Even had Nikki Haley kind of stepping in it, saying Iowa goes first, but New Hampshire, speaking to a New Hampshire crowd, corrects that. I guess she's given up on Iowa then. But let's continue on with Vivek here.
Well, you've been setting a lot of those expectations for yourself, saying that you can beat Donald Trump, who right now is polling in the Des Moines Register NBC News Iowa poll at 51%. You're at 6%. What happens if you don't shock the world? Would you be willing to continue your campaign into New Hampshire?
Well, I'll say a couple of things. I'm going in this to the very end, and I'll tell you why. But if you look at a lot of that, even a lot of that polling, which I think is incomplete, some of those recent polls show I'm the runaway favorite for the second choice to Donald Trump, which suggests that people are actually weighing those options very carefully. There was a gentleman who came to one of our events in northeastern Iowa yesterday. He was wearing a Trump 2024 hat. He came to my event, and then he asked a question. So I, lightly called out in a jovial fashion. I said, "I noticed the hat you're wearing." He says, "Yeah, I'm wearing the hat, but I'm supporting you. I think it needs to be somebody different. I'm convinced of that, but it's what this represents." And that actually spoke to me. It was interesting. And I just remember this because this was yesterday, but we see evidence of that across the board of people who absolutely do say they support Donald Trump. In many sense, I support Donald Trump in his legacy as U.S. president. I respect what his contributions are to this country. But when making the choice of who's going to lead our America First movement to the next level, that's a separate choice. I do think we're in the middle of a kind of cold cultural war in this country between those of us who love the United States of America and a fringe minority who hates this country and what we stand for. And when it comes to selecting a commander-in-chief, a general, to lead us to victory in that war, I think I'm best positioned to do it with fresh legs as a leader who is not yet wounded in that war. And I do think a lot of people see that back in me as well, and will be making that choice accordingly on January 15th.
And to that point about the folks who are coming to your events, I think you've seen that there are those who are coming to your events who are having a hard time letting go of former President Trump. There was a woman who attended one of your events recently who actually stood up and asked you a question. She was speaking about former President Trump, and she asked you, she said, how do we not go caucus for him? How do we not vote for the guy that they're trying to tear apart? It feels wrong to abandon him. And I think we've all seen that sentiment across the Republican Party. Do you agree with your opponent, Ron DeSantis, who has also said that Trump's legal troubles have fundamentally changed the dynamics of this primary, given that the troubles keep coming and they keep boosting him? Do you agree with that?
I have a different view on this than Ron DeSantis. I think he's looking at it in the way that a traditional politician playing and gaming together how many delegates you collect would look at it. I'm looking at it through the lens of what's right for the country. And I think one difference, an area of difference where you see that is when they've eliminated Donald Trump from the ballots in places like Maine and potentially even in Colorado, I was the clearest and first and only one still to state that I would remove myself from those ballots. And I think that many people here appreciate that, but whether or not they appreciate it, that's the right thing to do, to say that if there's going to be election interference, not going through a legal process or otherwise, just one individual in a state like Maine deciding, waking up on a given day and saying that Donald Trump's going to be removed from the ballot, that's the wrong thing for our country. And so I stood up for that just as I was the first and only person to clearly stand up against these politicized prosecutions against Donald Trump. I think it's very different than Ron DeSantis, who's been focused on collecting delegates.
Right, but all of that has helped him in this primary. His numbers have gone up every time these legal threats have come his way.
Look, I'm not a political analyst. I'm a candidate for U.S. president.
But you see the same numbers we do.
Well, I'm in this. Dasha, here's my approach to running this race. I'm going to tell people who I am and what I stand for. Share my true convictions. Share it honestly without a filter. And my deal with the voters is you don't have to agree with 100% of what I say to support me. But what you know about me that's different than anybody else, I think in American politics today, certainly in this race, is I will tell you what I believe 100% of the time. And I think that that's a longer sales cycle, right? I think that Iowans, you know this well, wait until the end. They're very thoughtful about making their decisions. They're evaluating people almost as a job interview. And that's what this is. This is a job interview to be the next U.S. president. And I've not seen people anywhere in this country as thoughtful as Iowa about taking that process really seriously.
Now, I think this guy's just getting better the more he's out on the campaign trail. Now, these campaigns always change the candidates. They really do. I think you could see a massive change in a way with Donald Trump, even from when he first announced in 2015 to winning the White House. And you saw the change, of course, with him being president, and the president's always change. But it almost seems like Vivek's getting better at this, and he's probably the best communicator, at least the ideas I care about, that I assume millions of others of Americans care about. He is able to communicate and talk to people in a remarkable way. And if you watch any of these town halls, sometimes it's a small crowd, sometimes it's a big one. He will take on hostile questions. He'll often give the microphone to somebody who tries to make a ruckus and make a protest out of an entire situation. Don't just yell and scream, talk to us. I think Vivek, well, clearly I personally am won over, but it seems if it's not going to be Trump, which it probably will be, if it's not going to be Trump, I would love to see Mr. Ramaswamy go. But I think they keep pressing him here on the fact that, well, Trump is so strong. Why are you better than Trump?
So I think in the next 10 days is when a lot of those people will be making their final decisions. And my bet is they're going to reward the candidate who has been frank, who has been brutally direct with them through this process, not treating it as a political horse race analyst. The questions you're asking are fair questions Josh should ask to a candidate. I think most other candidates think about it this way. What's being reflected in the poll numbers? Is what I'm saying working or not? Adjusting accordingly. That's what traditional politicians do, not me. I would rather share my true convictions and lose this race than to win by playing that political snakes and ladders. So I'm just not doing that because I think it drains my inner core out of me if I were to be doing it. I prefer to bring, people use the word authenticity. What does it mean? Just tell people what you believe. Be unvarnished.
Well, Vivek, you're making a huge mistake there because you know one of the rules.
In politics, man must learn to rise above principles.
So if you're just going to say exactly the principles you believe, you're not going to rise above them for practicality or necessity's sake. I don't know if you're going to win that way, sir.
Varnished about it. Don't worry about what that's going to do to you in the polls or not. My whole bet in this campaign is that's actually going to be the most successful approach in the end. My bet is that's going to be the most successful approach here in Iowa at the very end of the process, which is what we're entering right now as well. But if I've told everybody in this state, and if everybody in the state really knows who we are as a family and what we stand for, and then they decide to go after somebody else or go for somebody else, I'm at peace with that. My bet is, though, they're actually going to reward that authenticity, especially because of the people we see on the ground. I think they have a sixth sense for a politician who's given them poll-tested slogans versus somebody who's telling them the truth. Not only do we do the full double Grassley, and we weren't even aiming to do that. It was a byproduct of a comprehensive strategy of doing, I think, more events than all of the other campaign candidates combined. We're going to be over 330 events, live events with Iowans across this state by the end of this process. That's not only more than the rest of the field combined. As far as I know, it might be the most ever that somebody has done. I think people here reward that. They understand the setting where even what they're seeing right now in this conversation will be cut. There will be TV screens in between them. There's 30-second ads that they're probably watching in between this and whatever the next program is. In a certain sense, that's fake. And I think many Iowans sense that. And so my hope is that they reward the candidate, not just that worked the hardest, and I certainly have, but the candidate who was, I think, the most unvarnished in sharing the things that other candidates probably know to be true but can't touch.
Yeah, and the guy certainly is a workhorse, folks. He really is. So we'll see if it pays off, pays dividends for him. Gumtown John commenting, Trump is the bull in the china shop. Vivek is the one who cleans up after it, making it better than before. Well, maybe so. Maybe Trump gets back in there and Vivek is the future. But Romex Angler says Trump will lose his mind if Vivek starts getting close in polling. Well, you got that right. I think Vivek is as good as Trump, but Trump is like a standalone entity. I'm going to stay on the Trump train until he derails. I think, Romex, you speak for a lot of folks there. I think Trump has a unique ability that is nobody else has, despite their best attempts to copy him. But, you know, when it comes to Vivek Ramaswamy, he's working harder than anybody else. The guy's a machine, the amount of events he's doing. And sometimes you can tell he's tired, but he just keeps on trucking. So we'll see if he can pull off a huge upset and huge surprise there in Iowa. Got to hit a break here. When we come back, hopefully we'll have Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Y'all stay tuned. More news and views after this.
not know whether he's coming or going. But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Looking for surplus or even new steel products? Look no further. At Southern Steel, they are your premier steel dealer to help you save big without compromising on quality. Come browse their vast inventory. From sturdy beams, pipe, and steel plates, Southern Steel has it all. Don't miss out on this opportunity to supercharge your projects while saving money. Visit Southern Steel today at 1295 North McDonough Street or on Facebook or call 240-2223. See you soon.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. News and views in the afternoon. Now, as promised, we have Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances on the phone line. Hey, Michael, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm great, Joey. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Got a chance to talk to Coach Tuberville earlier today. Good to hear his voice.
I bet.
Well, and he's fighting the good fight, though. It is just, before we get into your shop there, isn't it just a crazy time right now? Am I off base because I guess youth or whatever? But seems like we're kind of going off the rails as a nation.
I don't get it. I mean, I see that we've got the Harvard lady, Gay, step down, but she's still a professor. She's still making almost $1 million a year.
Right.
And I mean that's the kind of step down we all want. I would love to shirk my responsibilities and still get paid the same.
Wait, I get to be a victim and make about $1 million a year? All right.
Yeah, all of a sudden the heifer understands what racism is. She didn't understand it against the Jews, but she understands it now because we're after her for plagiarism. Anyway.
Yeah,
and then the other lady at Penn State, she stepped down, but she's still a professor.
Yeah, well, they protect their own, even when they're supposedly punishing them or, marking them down. But, yeah, like I said, crazy, crazy times. This is why I try to escape into, sometimes a good movie or a good TV show. When it comes to setting up that home theater, I guess the centerpiece should be the TV. Or maybe one of those short throw projectors. You still have some of those there at Cohen's?
I do. It's a great deal. It's a 100-inch short throw projector. Takes up virtually no room in your living room. It's a fixed screen that you can just hang on the wall. It rejects light so that it works with lights on in the room. And I have one that I can do at $2,500 cash and carry.
And these things look amazing, folks, and you got to check those out. But when you're completing a home theater setup, you often have to think about the seating. Don't just be using some fold-out chairs, and y'all have some pretty kick-butt, say, leather chairs that feel great and look great.
Yeah, we have chairs that are like the big theater seats that you can get a row of them. They can go straight, they can go curved. And we have some really cool captain's chairs that have little ottomans that manually recline with a little lever that you just kind of push back on. But in all of these you can order in whichever color works best in your decor.
Well, and I tried one of those last time I was there at Cohen's, folks, and daggone, the captain's chair is a comfortable seat right there.
Right.
You'll be
and as you get older, Palliser also makes a really incredible lift chair.
Oh.
So it'll help you get up, and it also is conducive for you to sleep in it and not have to get up.
Well, there you go. Well,
yeah.
Folks, if you want to check out this and more, you can always go to thinkcohens.com or call them at 277-8890. But I really encourage you to stop by the Boulevard there, 2515 Eastern Boulevard here in Montgomery. Y'all open 9 to 6 a day, then 9 to 4 on Saturdays?
Man, you got it.
Well, I appreciate your time as always, Michael. We'll talk again tomorrow.
Take care.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
sir. Yeah, y'all got to check out those short throw projectors. That's some amazing tech right there. If you're in the market for some sort of TV solution, look into the short throw projectors. I was pretty blown away last time I stopped by there and was checking that out. But again, 272-9228, we got our final hour coming up in just a moment. It's going to be a fun-filled final hour. Even though the news just kind of sucks. Like I thought, oh, maybe it'll get exciting. Maybe it'll get better. But how about this? Let's keep going on the presidential politics trail. Now, you heard Coach Tuberville say earlier, if you're listening to that interview, it was right at the end of the first hour from about 12:45 to 1 o'clock. If you want to check it out on the live stream after the fact. You can always, by the way, go back and watch whatever portion of the stream. It exists on YouTube until YouTube decides to take my stuff down. But here's the Nikki Haley quote I was mentioning, and you might have heard Coach mention that he thinks there are a lot of Democrats now backing Nikki Haley. I've heard the same thing, but let's listen to Nikki Haley at a campaign town hall in Milford, New Hampshire.
We have an opportunity to get this right, and I know we'll get it right, and I trust you. I trust every single one of you. You know how to do this. You know Iowa starts it. You know that you correct it. You know that you continue to go.
Well, I guess she ain't winning Iowa. Wow. Flattering New Hampshire there. I don't know if it's going to work, Nikki. I don't think it's going to work unless you switch parties. But then, you'll be asked about what's the cause of the Civil War again, and you'll give some generic answer about, freedom. Freedom will win us a Civil War. Now, here's
Morning Glory, America.
Chris Christie on with Hugh Hewitt. And Hewitt here really sticks it to Christie.
Where this has become Nikki Haley's campaign when no one's voted yet is kind of a mystery to me, Hugh.
I'm not calling it, Nikki. I'm in Switzerland. I don't know whose campaign it is, but I do algebra. I used to do algebra. I'm not going to say that anymore. You might ask me something. But I can do math. And if Chris Christie drops out, someone's going to benefit not named Donald Trump. Isn't that undeniable?
Look, that's possible, although I think given the campaigns that are being run by some of the other folks, that a lot of the people are going to vote for Chris Christie in New Hampshire just won't vote.
That's possible, too. But the only way Donald Trump isn't the nominee is if somebody else beats him in Iowa and or New Hampshire. I think that's just, if he wins those two, he's the nominee. Is that true?
Well, I'm not exactly sure about that either because we're in unprecedented times here. Every day there's a new legal challenge for Donald Trump that's brought on by his own conduct. And not just legal challenges, but political challenges that are brought on by his own conduct and his own words. And so, no, I don't think any of that is definite. We're in a time that we never dealt with before. We never had a situation in our party or in our country where we've had someone who's facing a defamation damages trial in 2 weeks, who's facing a challenge to his business in a decision coming on that, someone who's under 4 criminal indictments.
Yeah, but Christie, I think Hugh Hewitt's point is right. That we don't need you. And in fact, if you get out of the frickin' race, if you really want to take down Trump, I think your support would go to somebody like Haley or DeSantis. I don't know what Christie's up to. Romex Angler says, I bet Christie's pants stay on. No, don't underestimate it. If you got Stephen Hawking engaging in orgies, who knows who's in there? It's like that scene in the movie 300 where Xerxes is offering all the temptations of the world to that hunchback or whatever. That's what I'm imagining. So don't underestimate whose pants stay on and whose stay off, Romex Angler. Jonathan K. commenting, to me, the whole interview came off as him buttering up Iowans. I think Jonathan's referring to Vivek. I guarantee that Iowans aren't giving it more thought than anyone else. Most have made their decision already. Maybe so. And that's why I'm ready for the voting to start, so we can actually get some numbers on the board to see where this thing is going. But we have the final hour of the program coming up here. Again, more news and views in the afternoon. Well, after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. A police update is expected soon. A shooting this morning at Perry High School in Iowa. The shooter has died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. At least 2 people have been taken to the hospital in undetermined condition. No motive is known. The White House says U.S. intelligence officials have determined that Russia has acquired ballistic missiles from North Korea and is seeking close-range ballistic missiles from Iran as Moscow struggles to replenish arms for its war with Ukraine. And the Justice Department is suing Texas over a new law that would allow police in the state to arrest migrants who enter the U.S. illegally. The Dow had 106 points, the NASDAQ 43 points in the red. This is SRN News.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-810-3588. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-810-3588. 800-810-3588. 800-810-3588.
Rich Thomas Weather brought to you by H&H Carpets, where you will find a complete line of Mohawk carpet with exceptionally clean, smart strand fiber. It's always available and ready to be installed. H&H Carpets, across from Walmart on the Atlanta Highway.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. We're enjoying this nice little break in between storm systems with a good bit of sunshine today. Cool with a high in the mid-50s. Clear, cold, 33 tonight. Friday's high up to about 58. A mostly cloudy day. Could be some isolated showers in the afternoon. Then rain and thunderstorms becoming likely Friday night and maybe into early Saturday. Locally heavy rainfall amounts. Mostly cloudy for much of the day. Near 60 on Saturday. Upper 50s on Sunday. Still dry. Another big round of rain and thunderstorms and locally heavy rain Monday night into Tuesday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
John Bobo with Capital Tractor. Rev things up in 2024 with Kubota and Capital Tractor. From the #1 rated compact tractor to the #1 selling compact excavator and more. We're powering Alabama. Kubota and Capital Tractor. Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
1819 News.
Alabama Congressman Barry Moore is coming out strong on ways to secure the U.S.-Mexico border. Moore is now vowing to not vote for any more government spending bills that would keep the government from shutting down unless the southern border is secured. Moore is being supported in this decision by Republican House members Chip Roy of Texas and Mike Lee of Utah. Moore said on social media that this was nothing short of an invasion, and he will not fund a woke, weaponized, and wasteful government that allows dangerous criminals, along with child and drug traffickers, to pour into the country and endanger American families. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
A Georgia police officer was killed in a high-speed chase that also involved Alabama law enforcement officers. The high-speed chase started in Georgia on Interstate 85 and crossed over into Chambers County, Alabama. A police officer from Lanett got involved in the chase, and his vehicle crashed into the Georgia police officer's vehicle. The Lanett police officer is now on administrative leave as the Alabama law enforcement agency investigates. The suspect in this high-speed chase is in police custody. Mobile police have now released the identity of a man shot on New Year's Eve in the downtown area. 19-year-old Marcus Kennedy was shot on Dauphin Street. Police were able to secure the scene within minutes of that shooting. Kennedy was taken to a nearby hospital, but he succumbed to the injuries. No suspect has been arrested at this point. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. Now, yesterday we played that great clip from Vivek taking it to a Washington Post reporter who was trying to get him to condemn white supremacy. I mean, who wouldn't want to condemn it? But Vivek said, I know the game you're playing. He called her out on that. I'm not going to genuflect or kneel in front of this new catechism or religion that you push out there. We understand the gotcha game we're playing. I condemn all forms of heinous racial discrimination. But we're not playing this game. Well, that reporter, who's named Meryl Cornfield, hopped on Twitter with her Washington Post story on Vivek and said, I asked Vivek if he condemned white supremacy. Vivek said to stop picking on this farce of some figment that exists at some infinitesimally small fringe. He said he condemns vicious racial discrimination, but would not bend the knee and condemn white supremacy. And this is why I love the new X platform, formerly known as Twitter, because Community Notes, the fact check function on the X platform, fact checked Meryl Cornfield, saying, quote, this is disingenuous framing of the exchange. He condemned all forms of racism, but refused to participate in a clear gotcha moment by the journalist. So Vivek called her out on it, and she still did what she did anyway. And it's because she's not trying to convince Vivek or the people actually paying attention. She's trying to convince the same old dopes who bought this game when it came to Donald Trump. I bet there are millions of Democrats who think Trump never would disavow white supremacy. Well, and even if he did, he didn't really mean it. He's just saying in a moment. But no. Trump disavowed, condemned, all these words, whatever you want to use. White supremacy, neo-Nazis, David Duke himself. How many times did Trump do that? 20, 30, 40, 100 times? Did he condemn all this stuff? And yet they kept saying it and kept asking, will you condemn this? He's like, I just did last week. Well, will you condemn it again? Will you disavow it? To where all they say is Donald Trump, white supremacy, Donald Trump, white supremacy, Donald Trump, white supremacy. And the two just go hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly. No matter how much, when they ask, well, just being reporters, do you disavow it? And by the way, I'm not making this up. This is a video put together by The Daily Wire. Here's your proof. Trump has disavowed it many a time, and it's a game the press plays. What this supercut is Trump disavowing it from the very beginning of his campaign all the way back in 2015, and then many members of the media after he disavowed it saying, well, he never disavowed it. And then let's ask him again. And he disavows it, and then, well, it's not. Just listen or watch the tape.
Are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups?
Sure. You've got David Duke just joined, a bigot, a racist, a problem.
That was February 14th, the year 2000. Now here's April of 2015.
I'm not looking. Would you repudiate David Duke? Sure.
David Duke and robocalls are out again. The white supremacist movement supporting you. Do you have any words for that?
Well, I disavow. David Duke endorsed me? Okay. All right. I disavow. Okay?
When we looked at it and looked at the question, I disavowed David Duke. So I've disavowed David Duke all weekend long on Facebook, on Twitter, and obviously it's never enough.
Trump's refusal to condemn, distance himself from white supremacists.
The Anti-Defamation League is already out there asking the president to clarify why he didn't condemn white supremacists.
So are you prepared right now to make a clear and unequivocal statement renouncing the support of all white supremacists?
Of course I am. Of course I am.
When Chris joined, we had a news conference, and they asked me the exact same question. I said, I disavow. I disavowed then. I disavowed today on
This is March of 2016.
ABC with George Stephanopoulos. I disavowed again.
David Duke is a bad person who I disavowed
March
on
again.
numerous occasions over the years.
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan. I totally disavow David Duke. Ultimately, he got to the Ku Klux Klan, which obviously I'm going to disavow. I've rejected David Duke. I've rejected the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan.
David Duke is saying to his supporters and followers, vote for Donald Trump. White supremacists are saying, vote. Do you want those votes?
No, I don't want them, and I don't want him to say it.
And you don't want the supporters?
No, I don't want anything.
What do you think of white supremacists, by the way?
I don't like any group of hate.
David Duke announced his Senate candidacy.
So that was in March. Now we jump to July of 2016.
Claiming your agenda.
Are you ready before you ask the question?
Newt Gingrich said every Republican should repudiate this guy no matter what it takes.
And I do. Rebuked. Is that okay? Rebuked.
Rebuked.
Done.
Just to clear it up this morning, can you name
Now we jump to October 1st of 2020.
it, make a declarative statement that you denounce, that the president denounces it?
Racism is evil. And those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs.
This is at Charlottesville, August 14th, 2017.
Including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists.
Do you want white supremacists to vote for you?
No, I don't at all. Not at all.
His campaign is denouncing a show of support from the KKK's official newspaper, as in the Ku Klux Klan.
In the same New York Times interview, he denounced white supremacists. He denounced the neo-Nazis who support him.
President Donald Trump signed a congressional joint resolution that condemns white supremacy, neo-Nazis, and other hate groups.
When he was asked to condemn white supremacists, he didn't.
And you...
Again, they're liars, and you can see the game going on here. Now, it's one thing, I don't expect these liars to stop lying. It's their job, again, to manipulate people. It's their job to say whatever they need to say to get the outcome they desire. They're a bunch of psychopaths. But again, he never disavowed it, says Jake Tapper. That's in 2020. But no, you have Trump all throughout the first time he ran disavowing it.
Neo-Nazis and other hate groups.
When he was asked to condemn white supremacists, he didn't.
And you had people, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
When specifically asked if he would denounce white supremacists, that the president dodged it.
I spoke out forcefully against hatred, bigotry, and violence, and strongly condemned the neo-Nazis, the white supremacists, and the KKK.
Well, I have to say that it's disappointing that a sitting U.S. president can't outright condemn white supremacy.
In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy.
The President of the United States, in the year of our Lord 2020, refuses to condemn white supremacists.
Any group of hate, I don't like it. Any group of hate, I am, whether it's white supremacy, whether it's any other kind of supremacy, whether it's Antifa, whether it's any group of hate. I am very concerned about it, and I'll do something about it.
He has yet once to condemn white supremacy.
Joe Biden, of course.
The neo-Nazis. He hasn't condemned the darn thing.
God, what an effing liar. F you, Joe Biden. Because that guy, I think he just now believes his own bull crap. Because, you know, the big story, another one was, we're $34 trillion in debt. $34 trillion in debt. So here's a compilation of Joe Biden talking about how he wasn't condemning things, man. I cut the debt in half, man. That's right, man. I cut the debt in half. They asked the right question, man. Think I'm lying? I ain't. Here's Joe Biden claiming he cut the debt in half over and over again.
I cut the national debt by $1.7 trillion.
We literally cut the federal debt in half by $1.4 trillion.
$1.7 trillion. $1.7 trillion cut.
We cut the debt by $1.7 billion in the last 2 years.
Let me say that again. $1.7 trillion.
I reduced the budget by $1.7 billion. Okay? I reduced the debt.
We cut the federal debt in half.
No, you didn't.
In the first.
No, it's not a fact. He's a freaking liar. I don't think I'm ready for this year. Actually, I know these people are liars. I know they're sociopaths, if not literal demons. What I'm not ready for is all the dumb people who are just now popping their head out of their hole going, oh, what's going on here? You know, I really don't like racism, so I guess I'll vote for the guy that all these people tell me is against it, while the other guy won't disavow it, even though he's disavowed it 1,000 times. And if it's not Trump, they'll do it with somebody else. Hey, let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
How you doing?
I'm all right, Duke. How you doing?
Are you sure you're okay?
Yeah,
now,
I'm
we
fine.
Need to call, we need to call Red Talk and get you a dime bag of stuff to calm down a little bit.
No, I'm not going to calm down. Don't tell me what to do.
But look here, though. I ain't giving a damn about this David Duke stuff. None of that right now. It's something else got me highly disturbed and pissed off. And hurt behind it, actually. This 14-year-old kid that killed somebody in Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah.
I got a serious problem with that, man. We can talk this racist crap all you please, but people in Montgomery, Alabama. It started last year. We noticed that the younger age groups are approximately 13 to 17 doing all this shooting and killing each other in Montgomery, Alabama, okay? But this stuff that happened on the 27th December, this young man on Vaughn Road out there, halfway east Montgomery, folks, middle of the city, 17-year-old kid got killed by a 14-year-old kid they arrested yesterday. We're not talking about that, are we? Damn David Duke and all those cats, okay, right now. Talk about it, Joey. What's up?
A 14-year-old kid shooting and killing somebody?
Yes, right down the road, cat.
Yeah, what's there to say? What's there to say?
It is okay. We're not talking about it. All we do is run into our little damn corner of the city. Hide out. Talk about how bad the police not doing their job. You know, and crime is up in the democratic cities, all this same old bull crap. This could be your grandchild or grandson that doing the shooting, or your son that got killed who was 17 years old. Vice versa. What are we going to do about the city of Montgomery, Alabama? run into our little corner of the city, move further east or north where we want to try to escape from reality. It's staring us in the face. Are we going to have a city left? Are we going to let the kids run the city? Kill each other?
Does kid have parents?
I hope so. But it appears that a lot of these kids are raising themselves.
Yep.
Or they clique, or their boys are raising them, or whomever.
You know, Duke, on this issue and others, half the time, what are you going to say? But I don't blame the police or anybody in politics for everything under the sun. I genuinely believe that there's a lot of stuff, a lot of problems in our country that ain't going to be solved by voting for Trump or Biden or anybody else. It'll be solved when somebody actually takes frickin' responsibility for their life and doesn't point their finger at the world. Maybe point at yourself in the mirror. You know, mistakes can happen, and people can be down and out and make terrible decisions. But a lot of this is a constant failure in ways small, every day, looking the other way. And I'm not their daddy. I'm not their mama. Certainly, I hope not. I'm not their mom, and it should be nobody's mama. But this is just crap.
But what makes so bad, Joey, people always used to point to the fact that single parenting. And, you know, some of it goes on in families that got both parents, mom and dad.
Right.
You know, so.
Well, ask a single parent if they wanted to be a single parent. When they first had their kid, was that the plan?
Like this nonsense shooting that took place in Iowa somewhere today or earlier. You know,
yeah, there's more float. I haven't talked about that, dude, because it's always fluid, the information. But
I know
there's stuff coming out about the identity. It looks like another trans shooter.
Boy, yes, but
it's awful.
Anyway, that was on my mind today. I woke up with it on my mind, you know, because you know these are our kids, regardless of who you are. I don't have any kids in the game, but they are kids, and to me and God, they're my kids still. All right.
Well, I appreciate you bringing it up. Thanks, man. 27. Wait, Duke, you still there? No, he left. I was going to ask him if he disavows the KKK. Line 3, you're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Joey, this is Chris, man. What's up?
What's up?
I don't know, dude. First of all, he's wrong. There is statistically kids that come from single-family homes have a higher percentage chance of falling into criminal activity. That is a fact. I don't care. It is a true fact. This is the brokenness and the failure of the great society that we were promised in the 1960s that has absolutely devastated the black community time and time and time again. And I'm not trying to look inward on myself to know what's going on. Everybody's pretty dang obvious. 75 people were killed in this city, and I think every single one of them, maybe one, was black, killed by another black person. The black culture has been taken over by Snoop Dogs, money, drugs, sex, and other crap, and it's absolutely destroyed them. And at one point during the 1950s, 40s, and actually one of the richest black men in the United States was in Birmingham, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And that culture has absolutely been devastated by government intervention. And I'm not so sure they did it on purpose. They want to keep the black man down. And I woke up to that too. I woke up this morning, my radio coming on, and hearing a 14-year-old was arrested by killing a 17-year-old young man. And this wasn't in the ghetto. This was in the center of the city of Montgomery, Alabama.
Oh,
so,
well, and I still try to believe, Chris, though, that I think your explanation ain't wrong. It's a big part of it. A few other factors, I'd imagine, too. But I try to, maybe I'm naive, but I would want to believe that I don't care what the forces of history are doing. I don't care who your mama or your daddy was. I don't care how bad your situation was. You still have a choice on how you're going to face either an awful situation or how you're going to use a great situation, the gift's given you. You always have a choice. And I think it's this idea that we have to explain everything by some big political or social or historical causes that gives people an excuse for their terrible decisions.
Yeah, well, I agree to some, but if you also look at the education in the city of Montgomery, there was an article recently that said almost over 50%, close to 50% of the kids are truant going to school in the city.
Yep.
Truancy levels are out. I mean, you walk around. You drive around, you see kids milling around all over the place. They're not going to school. They're not learning anything. What they're learning is the rules of the street. And those rules are really one thing: don't get shot.
Yeah.
And that's just what the society we've brought upon ourselves. What can we do? Well, first of all, we've got rid of God in this country. He's dead. We got people like Bill Clinton leading us, who's going down to Epstein Island and doing God knows what. But you know what? They're going to put Donald Trump on the front and say he was down there. At least gaslight you to make you think that. And that's where we are. I mean, our leaders have failed us. We have failed God himself. And until we turn away from these evil ways, I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. I mean, and I sent you the thing about the transgender person. I mean, this is episodic. Something is fundamentally wrong with society right now. And I'm telling you right now, and I'm not trying to point fingers, liberalism is the death of this country. It is the death until we wake up. And hopefully people will. But, God, here we are in 2024. I don't know what will wake you up if you haven't woken up yet.
Well, I appreciate the call as always, and always appreciate you sending me all the info you do every day, Chris. Thank you, sir.
Hey, and heads up, man, if I appreciate people like you and a lot of other folks that are willing to put their head and their face out there and say things that people are saying behind closed doors because they're scared to say it. But I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to hear it and let us speak on the radio and say it ourselves.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it, Chris. We'll talk again soon.
Sure.
Thanks, man. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Mr. Pink.
Hey, Mr. Pink. How you doing?
How you doing, Joey?
I'm all right, I suppose.
Man, I know you're good, man. I'm right there with you, man. I'm waiting for this show to get to cracking, man. It's going to be something new. Because, like I said, it's not your daddy's America. It's not your daddy's America. Things were different in the 90s, just like they was probably different in the 70s. I went there, but things were different, But I was talking about the kids and stuff, man. I want to be honest. I really don't care about other people's kids, man. I really don't. I have my own kids to worry about.
Right.
And I know that's selfish. And I like when you said, like, where's their mama? Where's their daddy? Where's their support?
All right.
Like the guy that was just talking about black people saying, we're all messed up or whatever. That's probably what he sees because he's in Montgomery. I think Montgomery's messed up because if you go anywhere else, there's a lot of black people doing good, and they're living in places like Mayberry.
Oh, yeah?
They got their own Mayberry, yeah. Yeah, and then I tell guys like myself, once we get up out the hood, get up out the ghetto, we don't go back. We don't associate with brokies. We don't associate with crackheads and people that's selling dope because we're not trying to get caught up in that stuff. Now, people love that, even white people. The show that's on before, they love the song, them apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. Man, Schultz said it good on the show. He said people have found out how to, get that without being around those people. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah, well, it wasn't just black folks buying when NWA dropped their records in the 90s. Put it that way, yeah.
Yeah, it's worldwide, like K-pop. What is that?
Right. Right.
Like it's a culture that everybody likes. Like when in the 90s, I was from the 90s, I was 8 to 18 through the 90s, and just like now, it's this gang culture going on. Like the Boogaloo Boys or these militia groups or Antifa or Black Lives Matter, anything, whatever, put it there.
Right.
It's these groups, it's these cliques, and you could have been a bookworm or whatever. But you want to throw these fake gang signs up so you can be a part of the clique a part of the,
Yeah.
But
well, everybody's looking for meaning and fill that God-shaped hole in their heart. And when people say, "Oh, turn back to God," even if you decide I'm going to or I'm going to turn to God, it still ain't easy. Like you've got to really do the work each and every day when you wake up. But no, I really appreciate your point because I think it is a larger culture of just sort of a momentary pleasure of the whim, and everything's subjective. And so, take all the drugs, have all the sex, eat all the food you want, watch all the silly crap. And, I'm a product of that society too. So,
yeah, but Joey, you can think for yourself. Like, say the internet goes out and you ask somebody a question. They cannot answer it because they never researched anything. They can't pick up a book. They don't know where a library is. Like, everybody think they're a genius now because they got Google. And who's to say that's right? We used to be able, you have to show your work,
Right.
It's none of that going on anymore. And that's why everybody's so messed up. Everybody thinks they're right, and they don't know a damn thing. I've been there myself when I was a baby, or when I was younger, like 20. Thought I knew everything. But then it took me getting cracked on the head to say, I don't know nothing. And then I sat down and I learned something, Then I was able to show somebody else, something,
Well, and it's always good to remember that even the smartest person on earth is probably ignorant of 99%, say, of the information in this world. Like, you can't know everything. You need others. And before I let you go here, did I hear you're a fan of the Schultz, the Flagrant podcast with all those guys there?
Yeah, I love all those people, man. I like that. See, people like Schultz, and I have friends like that. And we get together. We don't like the stuff that we don't talk radio. We make fun of this stuff because we know we got each other back. We don't look at each other different. I mean, we're different.
Right.
We can see that. We got eyes, but like we're trying to we're trying to evolve, man. We're trying to get out the past. Matter of fact, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
I've been going through history. When in just history was the world or a country or just like Mayberry? Just when everything was all good, nobody, and nobody died, nobody had troubles, nobody struggled, everything was just good for everybody. Utopia. Has it ever been like that?
No, not since they were kicked out of the garden, the first two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
that's
we're going
part
to
of
have to live with this, man. We're going to have to live with this. So everybody either, what do they say, lead, follow, or get out the way or something, like do something.
Right.
You got all this talk. You got all the answers. Go help somebody. I used to go to Eddie's community. It's a place called the Vadok on the north side. I used to go to a guy named Pride House on every Sunday, take him a newspaper, some bananas and stuff, and he would talk to me about stuff going on, doing Selma, doing all that. He's an old dude. He might not be living. I haven't spoke with him in years, but it was different people in that community. Some people you can help, some people you can't. I can come to a guy and say, hey man, come on, you come to work with me right now, I can get you $15 an hour, get paid today. It's like, nah, I don't want to do that. I got to check, or whatever, something like that,
Well, and
like I'm not.
You hit the nail on the head with the point. I think it's the problem with our society is if you could live a life without tears, without suffering, which is impossible. And I think that's the big lie of our politics from the right or left, wherever, that, just give us enough power, follow our program, and life will be wonderful. No more suffering, folks. But even if you could get there, even though I think that's a lie, I don't think people would be happy. I think they would be shocked where you'd have every need met and you still wouldn't be happy. Men would overthrow it just to show they're still free, even if they had everything provided.
Yeah, everybody's doing it now. Even women. It's like, we couldn't vote, 100 years ago. We couldn't wear this, so I'm finna show my ass, Like everybody's doing it right now.
Wait, but I think you and I can both agree that women are never fully happy. Oh, God forbid. Maybe that's just my own personal experience, but
Oh, no, trust. I was married for 10 years, and I've been in a relationship almost 14 now. And no matter what you do, they're always going to want something else. It's like, what have you done for me lately? Trust me. Trust me. And I still don't get enough for Veterans Day, birthday, Christmas, you name it, Father's Day. But that's part of being a man,
Right.
But still talking to you, Joe. I just had to come in, man, and I want to get with you later on, man. I wanted to do some different things for the 2-4. I wanted to try to change some things up. I wanted to try some new stuff.
Okay.
like I said, I was talking about Schultz and stuff. I want to throw some stuff out there to you, man. I was thinking about a podcast called NYDP.
NYDP.
Not Your Dad's Podcast.
Okay. All right. I like that. Yeah. You know where to find me, I think, on the social media and all that. Yeah. Hit me up.
I can, but see, I have to get on that. I haven't been on social. I met you, Joey, one time, 10 years ago. I shook your hand. I said, man, let's make some music at the station.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. You keep, and I'm also remembering you keep reminding me of that. So I remember.
But I'm not on social media. I'm not on any social media. I haven't been on it since then, even before I met you then. But
well, how about this? I gotta hit a break. I can put you on hold. I'll give you my number off here.
Awesome possum, man.
Cool. Well, yeah. Hold on, and I'll come right to you, man.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Let's hit that break here, and more news and views in the afternoon after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with the updated market report. Over the past 11 and a half months, over 4,100 homes have sold and closed in our MLS system with an average price of $245,000. Houses are selling at listed price throughout the river region, and over 35% are selling in the first 30 days on the market. Rising interest rates tend to keep some people from buying, but it didn't stop over 4,100 families from buying this year. There's a cost to waiting and expecting rates to fall, and that cost is appreciation, which has been rising nearly every month for the last 2 years. So the house that you delay buying this year could cost you $35,000 more next year, even if the rate falls. One alternative is to buy now, refinance when rates improve, and that way you are not paying more for the house that you really wanted. For the facts, call Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, you will immediately see the difference in pricing. Not only do we offer the most competitive rates, but our closing costs rank among the lowest in the industry. How do we do it? Because we can. We do not have the overhead that big banks and lenders do. Those big banks and lenders have big expenses. And what do? They pass those expenses along to you. Meanwhile, here at Alabama Home Mortgage, we receive wholesale rates which result in big savings that we pass along to you. Don't pay more for less. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our rates and pricing are just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
Well, hi, everybody. We're enjoying this nice little break in between storm systems with a good bit of sunshine today. Cool with a high in the mid-50s. Clear, cold, 33 tonight. Friday's high up to about 58. A mostly cloudy day. Could be some isolated showers in the afternoon. Then rain and thunderstorms becoming likely Friday night and maybe into early Saturday. And locally heavy rainfall amounts. Mostly cloudy for much of the day. Near 60 on Saturday. Upper 50s on Sunday. Still dry. Another big round of rain and thunderstorms and locally heavy rain Monday night into Tuesday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. This part of the program brought to you by XI Repair. And there at XI Repair, Jonathan Strange and his team are ready to help you with all those smartphone repairs in particular. Whether it's a cracked screen, water damage, maybe your battery's not holding a charge, could be you just have a dirty port. They can help you with all that and more there at XI Repair. Of course, they also do work on desktop computers, laptop computers. They can custom build you a PC even. I can't think of anybody better to do that sort of work. They really do amazing customized boxes. That way, whether you got a gamer in your life or maybe a professional needs a kick-butt machine, well, they can put that together for you there at XI Repair. They can, of course, also help you with data recovery services. So if you accidentally delete something or somebody deleted something on purpose, that information can still be recovered. So check them out today. You can even start a job online at xirepair.com. So say you drop your phone in the middle of the night. Well, even if it's like 2 in the morning, you can go to xirepair.com, immediately get in the queue for the next day and get an immediate quote as well. Or you can always call them at 777-1234. That's 777-1234. And be sure to tell those fine folks there at XI Repair, maybe it's Greg, maybe it's Kia, be sure to tell them that Joey from News and Views in the Afternoon sent you. Let's go to Debbie. Hey, Debbie. How you doing?
Hi, Joey. Long time no hear, sweetie.
I know. But are you surviving? Did you have a good New Year, Christmas holiday?
I certainly did. I hope you had a fabulous one yourself.
Yeah, it was relaxing by design.
Great. That's what you want. That's great. I was just going to throw in a couple of little things that I just came across recently. One of them, my grandson was over the New Year's holiday, and he was talking about, now he's trying to get out on his own. He's 18. He's working on it, you know. And he was saying that he noticed that people aren't wanting or willing to accept a man as a man anymore. And I kind of was taken back that he would tell me something like that at his age. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, if you talk to people, they don't like macho. They don't want a man being a man. They want a man being subversive. You know, I'm not subversive, but submissive. You know, just kind of one of these type of people that will accept whatever is thrown out, and that's what they have to deal with, you know. And I understand that when you have a job, you have to keep biting your tongue. It doesn't matter if you're man or woman. But you think about it, you know, you hear men often say, so he doesn't rule the roost at home, he doesn't rule the roost at work, and he can't be a man anywhere outside of work. So where does a man get to be a man? At the gym?
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, if you think about it. Now, when I was growing up, I would love to sit back and watch guys lift weights, play football, kill the carrier, baseball. I didn't care. I mean, it was all, I played with them as far as that goes. I was a tomboy. I didn't care. I loved it. I thought that was the way you're supposed to be. So me, I didn't have a problem with a man being a man. I thought it was quite nice.
Right.
But apparently in today's world, everybody's got to be a nerd or a wuss or whatever label you want to put them on, or they're not acceptable. They're a troublemaker. They're, you know, out to get in trouble somewhere in life. They'll never amount to something. You know, you hear all these terms on these people now, and it used to be acceptable, and now it's not. I think that's hard to swallow for a lot of these young men. You can't even have a fight in the playground at school without, being expelled. Used to, common. It would happen. You get a paddling, you get yelled at home, straighten your butt out. But now you can't do that.
Well, and I don't necessarily associate manliness as manliness to me is not a synonym of necessarily macho. Because I think macho can be ostentatious. Macho can be that guy who is a bodybuilder. I know some bodybuilders are great folks, but that doesn't, there are people who are, a man, and they might not look it like from afar. They might not be getting into fights, but I think a man is somebody who's incredibly disciplined and willing to take on certain burdens for not only himself, but for those he loves, and stands firm even when the crap hits the fan, so to speak. So, and sometimes that is presented in sort of play, like, having a tussle or a fight, you're at the gym. That podcast, Mr. Pink and I were just talking about Flagrants, a bunch of dudes, and it's very much dudes just hanging out. Hell, Joe Rogan's been described as Oprah for men. So there are manly spaces. There's now almost an entire cottage industry of men's men talking to, thoughts, as they call them on the internet, all these girls that, show their butt and more on the internet. So it's
you don't
a weird.
watch that, do you?
I'll see the short videos and whatnot of, they're usually panel discussions where people are arguing. She's like, I make $30,000 a month on OnlyFans. And I look at her and go, well, I get it. But it's also, it's a weird time where there is, I maintain the biggest divide right now in society is men and women. And I don't know why exactly. You could point at feminism, but I think there's a lot more going on than just the feminists. It's something weird happening on a fundamental level in our society. I think it goes back to a God thing, and I say that without necessarily stumping for any particular denomination.
Well, this idea that equality is the ultimate is insane, number one.
Yes.
I do not agree with that. We are not equal. We're not meant to be equal. We all share something somewhere down the line that we can relate to, but we're not meant to be equal. Everybody has their own strength, and everybody brings something to the table. And if we're all the same, then there's nothing to learn. We cannot be equal. And the idea that men and women should be equal is insane to me. We are not, and we should be appreciative of our differences. That brings me to my next point. The stuff with these mass murderers being trans is very disturbing. I know as a woman, it's hard to deal with certain hormonal issues. Now I'm older, it's not so big. But when I was younger, there was a time every month that I would be not myself, if you know what I mean.
Sure, yeah.
And you take a man that has never had to deal with that, and all of a sudden you start giving him them hormones that make him go through those kind of periods of time where he's not himself.
Or imagine a teenage girl being pumped full of testosterone. Yeah.
Especially when she goes through a situation where she's not herself. Oh, hey.
Also, let's be straightforward about this. It's not, obviously, we're seeing more and more trans folks carry out these shootings, but the shootings aren't just them. And again, I'm sure there are many people in this audience who remember a time where people brought their hunting rifles to school and whatnot. Like this was not even thought of, right? So again, I think it's there's something deeper going on where we're losing our values.
Definitely. And the idea, like I said, that we're trying to brainwash everybody into believing they all have to fit a certain mold causes a lot of frustration.
Yeah.
We are individuals, and, especially here in America, we should be allowed to have our individuality without being ashamed of it. That was the whole point of women having women's rights, so we'd be able to be appreciated, in my mind. That's what it boiled down to. And now here we are, with men now saying, I need to be appreciated because it's went too far the other way.
Well, and I think the big outbreak we've had in the last few decades is, I think it's something actually Ayn Rand came up with. It's essentially selfishness without self. So it's one thing to be very self-directed, have your own ideas about the world, and you pursue those ideas, you pursue those goals. You, no matter what the world is telling you, you kind of have your own internal, compass, and you head towards true north. But then there are a lot of folks who are always looking out for themselves, but they don't really know what they want. So they're always looking to that person or this thing, society that's in the media or whatever. And they kind of listlessly go through life collecting maybe stuff. Maybe they get a high status job. They don't really know why they're doing it. It's just what we do, what I do. And I think there's a lot of that going on these days, and it makes for pretty miserable, unhappy people. Thank God not everybody then goes and decides to take it out on the world. But I think we underestimate how miserable everybody is, how sad everybody is.
I'm going to ask you one question, and then I'm going to let you go. The misery index under Obama was extremely high.
Mm-hmm.
I am very sure it's even higher now. Have you checked on the misery index anytime recently?
I haven't, no.
Well, they had a nice little write-up when Obama was in his second term about our misery index hitting an all-time low, even matching that of the Great Depression, which I was quite shocked. But they, listed the criteria that they used, and it was kind of eye-opening. And I just wonder how far we went down that rabbit hole. How far is our misery index right now? Just curious. But I hope you have a good show, a great time. Good to talk to you again, Joey.
Good to hear your voice, Debbie. Have a good day. Call back soon.
You too. Thanks.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder. Again, they're at Dillon Rings. And again, they are a full-service jewelry shop. That means, hey, you got a watch that hadn't worked in a while. They can do a repair on that watch. Maybe you inherited a piece of jewelry from family and, you love it. You want to keep it in the family. In fact, you want to wear it, but it's a little dated, a little worn out. Well, they can update that for you there at Dillon Rings. Josh has even combined two pieces of jewelry before. So maybe you can take a ring and a necklace, ring and a bracelet. You can use the stones and the different components in different ways. And maybe you just had a dream where you're like, I want this glorious, funky pendant that I'm going to share with my best friend. I'm going to matching ones. And with our powers combined, whatever your crazy idea might be, Josh Ryder there at Dillon Rings can make it a reality. So you can always go to DillonRings.com, see all their services there. But I really encourage you to stop by, go see Josh and Leslie in person. 119 Brown Springs Road, right here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. The way I remember their locations where the old fun zone used to be. I worked there for like 2-3 years in high school, right before the tornado knocked it down. But that platform's still there, and right there in front of that old fun zone platform, there's Dillon Rings. Again, 119 Brown Springs Road, just off of the Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell Josh and Leslie Ryder, they're back from vacation, that Joey from News and Views in the Afternoon sent you. Now, more news and views in the afternoon after this very quick break. Ray Bowles on the other side, hopefully.
is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is Frank Bertorelli. We'd like to take time out to thank Blue Water Broadcasting for their years of help in growing our business. Over 25 years with Zap Pest Control and still growing thanks to Blue Water Broadcasting.
Radio works. It's as simple as that. Call us to find out how radio can work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Hey, Tammy, let me tell you about how to bring in those big deer.
Randy, I know how to attract the big bucks.
Ah, very funny. At Prattville Farm Center, we've been helping hunters be successful for over 35 years.
We have the products, supplies, and knowledge you need to get those big bucks.
That's right, Tammy. We don't believe in gimmicks or magic seed. We just believe in sound planting practices that work.
So come see us today at 1154 South Memorial Drive in Prattville.
Now that we're done talking about those big bucks, how about those cute does?
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final moments here, shopping minutes of the show. And usually we talk to Ray Bowles, but he seems a little preoccupied right now. But just as a quick reminder, if you're looking for new flooring, it could be carpet, of course, it's Tuberville carpet, it's right there in the name. They have an amazing selection when it comes on carpet. By the way, it's also rug season, and they can even custom make you a rug, I believe, there with the great product they have at Tuberville Carpet, but it could be traditional hardwood, the new laminate flooring products, luxury vinyl plank, really great stuff, or even ceramic tile. If you want to remodel, say, the kitchen, counters, and backsplash, or get a full walk-in shower. And they even have that heated tile like Ray was talking about yesterday. So in these cold, cold months, those feet are warm, a nice, wonderful 75 degrees. When you wake up in the morning, walk into the bathroom, so you're not sounding like Mario, woo-hoo-hoo, when you step on your bathroom floor. Why don't you just instead call up Prattville Carpet? They can hook you up. And they'll actually come to you, free in-home measurement. So call them today at 285-8117. That's 285-8117. And be sure to tell Ray Bowles, that great team there at Prattville Carpet, that you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. Now, I'm trying to think, did I learn anything today? Did I learn anything at all? Well, I already knew we were in a massive amount of debt, and I guess Joe Biden cut it in half. I cut it in half, man. And Trump's never disavowed all this stuff. It's mind-numbingly, it's just evil. At this point, these people are evil. This fight over power is just straight up evil. I guess I relearned that today. But of course, Biden's going to start the year at sites of national trauma to warn about dire stakes of the election. Yeah, man. They're the fascism, man. They're going to take away all our government control of media and of the economy, and that, setting people free like that Javier Milei guy, man. That's just fascism. Freedom is fascism. That's essentially the message they're going to give. That, all the worst aspects of American history, we who run the Democratic Party in modern day are willing to rile everybody up, poke people with the stick, so we can keep recreating the problem that would go away. And then, we'll be the saviors. They provide the disease so they can give you the cure. Or as I've said before, this government breaks your leg, provides you a crutch, and then says, aren't we great? No, just leave us alone. That would be nice. Also, learned today that Vivek Ramaswamy is almost calling a shot, saying he's going to do a lot better than Iowa than most people think. And I think there's a new Tucker Carlson interview out with Ramaswamy, just broke a few minutes ago. So I'll be watching that this evening. Tomorrow, we should have a packed show. I think Craig Monger stopping by. Eddie will be back. We might get a call from Jeff Deist, the man himself, and so much more. And we'll be bringing you more guests as coming weeks and months pass us by. A lot of congressional conversations. I believe, for instance, Gary Palmer will be joining us when it comes on Monday. A lot of things happening this year. Y'all stay tuned. Happy Hour with Greg Goodell and Rosie Brock. They're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center.